Now here's where it gets interesting. Imagine if the genders were reversed. What if a man started posting all over social media, dragging his ex, playing the victim, and throwing shade every chance he got? The reaction would be swift, right? He'd be called out for being petty, for being toxic, for being immature. The double standard is so obvious when you think about it. But because she's a woman, society cuts her more slack. People are quick to say, oh, she's just emotional, or she's hurt. But let's call it what it is. This isn't just a case of someone being, it's toxic behavior. And honestly, it's no wonder the guy left. No one wants to deal with constant negativity, entitlement, and drama. Men crave peace, not chaos.
If a man leaves you, he doesn't want you. I feel like I need to be very clear about this. Now, when I say he doesn't want you, I mean as something serious. Because a lot of times men will come in and out of women's lives and women will think that that means something and they want to know, what should I do? You should understand that that man has you as a placeholder. Likely you guys are having, being intimate and that's why he's giving you around. But does he see you as a girlfriend and as a wife? No, he doesn't. Understand that men are very prideful and entitled in nature. So a man is never going to have a woman that he sees as valuable and he thinks that could be his girlfriend, wife, life partner and let her go and run the risk of someone else picking her up. Because if he sees you as valuable, and remember, a lot of men in their mind have high standards for themselves, entitled high standards, but I read this. He's going to automatically assume that other men are going to see you as valuable because he knows what his checklist is and what it takes to pass that checklist. So a man is not...
It sounds like you're describing modern women and their ability to have these insanely high standards and think of themselves as entitled. And I think a term for that would be projecting. They're projecting what modern women do onto men.
Not going to meet a woman he sees as the one and then let her go or be ghosting her because A, he doesn't even think that the one would accept that kind of treatment. So the fact that you're accepting that treatment also lets him know you're not the one. But he's not going to have someone he thinks is the one and is going to be the person that he would want to spend his life with and then ghost her. He's not going to do that. Because people, but men specifically, don't let go of what they think is valuable. It's essentially like picking up a bag with 20k in it, spending £50 and then putting it down, and then going back later and seeing if it's still there. It makes no sense. He is going to hold on to it because to him that has value, he needs it, it's going to help him in his life. That is exactly how men think about the one. When they find a woman that's the one for them, they are not letting that woman go. So if a man drops you out, no bueno. Don't get twisted. There are times where a man can see you as the one and act a fool, so you're the one who has to let him go. That's a different situation. However, I'm not saying let this man be playing knockdown ginger with your heart, coming in, running. No. But men are not always the most switched on when it comes to relationships, and it takes them a while to get into the mindset. So a man might make a mistake, you might cut it off, and you may then be able to give him another chance depending on what the mistake is.
So you're saying that men aren't locked into the relationship. It takes them a while to get locked into the relationship. How long do you think that it takes a modern woman to get locked into the relationship if she's requiring a man to take her on these expensive dates, to prove all of these other things because she has high standards? If I have a list of sometimes 30 pages of things that a man needs to do in order to prove himself, even a list of 30 to 50 bullet points of what a man needs to do to prove his love to me, wouldn't that mean that would take me a while to get locked into the relationship? Wouldn't that take that man a while to go through all of those things, all of those walls, all of those hoops? So by that logic and by that standard, a modern woman's standard, it would take her longer to get locked into the relationship. Once again, it sounds like projection onto the vast majority of men.
Absolute to the na-na for any kind of a particularly physical, just...
Hello.
No, cut that man off, one and done. But if he was getting a bit too froggy, if he wasn't keeping his word, little things that could turn into big things, you can give him another chance. But only if you were the one that cut him off. And I'm not talking about the cutting off, because some girls will tell me that they broke up with their boyfriend. You did not break up with him. He treated you so bad and made it so clear that this was the only treatment you were getting, that you had no other choice but to leave. Otherwise, you would look absolutely insane in the membrane. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about when a guy makes a mistake, you check it out.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about right now?
I'm not really on that. Then he comes back with a change of mind and heart. And also, if he comes back and he hadn't changed his mind and his heart and he's still doing the dumbness, cut him off, one and done. But yeah, I really wanted to clarify that because there's a lot of girls who will mention me like, oh, he ghosted me or he left. You're not the one.
You think with all of those words that you just used and all of the directions that you've explored, the whole Marvel universe, you think that you clarified it?
Not the one. Your placeholder, your good time, your entertainment, you're the right now girl, you're not the forever girl. Because a man will never leave a woman that he thinks is valuable and adds value to his life. I hope that helps. Now, like I always say, there's always an exception to the rule. For best results, assume it's not you.
Here's the kicker. Ghosting actually makes some women fall harder. And if you're out here chasing women, chances are you're doing yourself more harm than good. Let's break it down. Women crave the attention of the men they can't have. It's that simple. The moment a guy goes silent and disappears off the radar, their interest spikes. It's almost like they start romanticizing what could have been, creating stories in their heads about why he ghosted, and that mystery becomes addictive. They want to know why he pulled away, and suddenly, he's on their mind 24/7. Now, compare that to the guy who's constantly there, always texting, always calling, trying to spend time with her. What happens? She loses interest. Fast. Why? Because women don't want what comes too easy. The chase is exciting for them, and once they know you're available and eager, it kills the thrill. Think about it. When you ghost her, she starts wondering what she did wrong. If she wasn't good enough, if there's another woman in the picture, that's when they start chasing, texting, double texting, doing everything they can to get your attention back. It's the classic case of you want what you can't have. But here's the funny thing. When you chase after women, they start to lose respect.
You know what's the saddest truth about dating that I've experienced? Like this, when I think about this, it makes me want to quit dating altogether, but I ain't no quitter, so I'm not gonna stop. But the saddest thing is that the best dating experience I've ever had, the best treatment I've ever gotten from men is when I don't like them. The men that I like, I barely answer my phone for you. Every time you talk to me, I kind of have a little bit of attitude. Like, I don't want to stay up on the phone with you all night. I really just, I'm barely here. That's when they want you most. That's when you get the most attention. That's when they pursue you the hardest. Like, it's an unfortunate truth. And it's hard because as fun as that is, and as satisfying as it is to like give nothing and get everything in return, that's not the type of person that I naturally am. Like, naturally, I want to be in love. I want to be all up in your face. I want to be consumed with love. I want to be so blinded I can't see nothing else. But as soon as I turn that lover girl mode on, you don't know how to act. They just can't handle it. They do not respond well to that. And the real key to still getting that treatment from them is to just solely focus on yourself, to center yourself completely. Don't think about anything he wants. Don't think about what he needs. Just think about yours.
That's so fucking retarded. To be able to get a man to love you, you need to be able to treat him like dog shit and then do everything that you want for yourself. Never at all think about the relationship together. That is as stupid as half the shit that I've been seeing on TikTok. If you have to play the role of a cold-hearted partner, your loving, affectionate partner might have issues. It's worse than having issues. You have to act like a sociopath to try and get emotional reactions from the person that you're dating. You might just have chosen a bad person. And thus should pick better men and women. And of course, the voice that we're currently hearing is black, so... It's black and her hair is straightened. It's cooked no matter what. It's cooked no matter what.
Herself and fill your whole life with you. But sometimes it be hard. I don't want to be thinking about myself. I want to think about you. I want to daydream. I want to build a future.
Here we go again with something that's become pretty obvious, but still somehow ignored. It's a pattern you can't miss. The more dismissive a man is, the more attention a woman throws at him. It's wild, but it's happening all the time. And it leaves you wondering, why do women keep chasing guys who don't care? Let's get straight to it. The problem isn't the men, it's the women. We've all seen it before. A guy who barely texts back, doesn't plan dates, doesn't seem invested, yet she's bending over backward for his attention. And here's the kicker. She knows he's not interested, but instead of walking away, she doubles down, convinced she can change him. That's where it all falls apart. Women have created this dynamic themselves. They've set the stage where the guy who doesn't give them the time of day suddenly becomes the most interesting guy in the room. Why? Because they want what they can't have. They crave validation from someone who isn't offering it. Instead of going for the guy who treats them well, they fixate on the one who's indifferent, hoping to win him over. Here's where it gets even crazier. Women will say they want a guy who's attentive, emotionally available, and a good communicator. But when that guy shows up, he's often ignored. Why? Because there's no thrill in it. They've been conditioned by their own experiences, social media, and this weird idea of what excitement is to chase men who don't need them. And let's put it bluntly, this behavior is on women. You can't complain that you're always getting ghosted or treated poorly when you're the one running after the guy who's obviously not interested. The guy who's dismissive is just living his life. He's not playing a game. He's just not invested. And somehow, that lack of effort is what keeps pulling women in. Here's the truth. Women love the chase. It's about ego. It's about validation. It's about proving they can get him even when he's already shown he's not into it. And when they finally get that little bit of attention, it feels like a win. But it's all temporary. Because guess what? That dismissive guy still doesn't care. He's not going to suddenly turn around and become the doting boyfriend they imagined. He's going to keep doing his thing, and they'll keep chasing. So whose fault is it when women end up in these situations? It's on them. They're choosing to go after men who aren't showing any interest. Instead of holding out for someone who's actually invested, they're wasting time trying to get attention from the guy who's indifferent.
A guy I dated over the summer got married last weekend. I'm not really sure how I feel about it.
So not many people that I go on dates with, I add to my Facebook. But this man, we dated for months. And I added him to my Facebook. And I was like, okay, so he's going to Facebook yesterday, and all of a sudden he pops up. It's this beautiful wedding. It's this woman. She's on the freaking mountainside with an ocean behind her, like this beautiful picture. And I look and it's him. And I was like, sir. So then I'm perplexed. And I'm like, okay, well, did you like meet and fall in love and get married after 4 weeks? Because I guess, that happens, right? People get married on the first date and are together forever. People are together for 10 years, get married and get divorced next year. It happens. I'm not here to judge. I'm just trying to figure out how bad I got played. So I dated this man from April and...
You got played because he didn't give you the mountainside wedding vista. Man, I wanted to warm up, not a mental fucking agony. Jesus Christ. You got played because he didn't give you the things you thought and believed you deserved. Quote unquote. So then you decide to make a TikTok blasting him for not picking you? The fuck? How does that fucking make sense? In what world does that make sense?
until almost June. Like, it was a month of my life, and it wasn't like a casual thing. We saw each other at least once a week. We went away for a weekend together, and I was trying to like put the math together in my head, so I looked. Now, when we stopped seeing each other, he lived a little far away, so it wasn't like something we never had like the seeing other people conversation. It wasn't something like that we were talking about. But I thought like I wasn't dating other people. When we stopped talking to each other, it was because he said he started dating someone else, and that he didn't see, we were not as compatible, blah, blah, whatever. It was very adult way to break up, and I was like, okay, that's fine, I totally get that. But now, looking back, I'm like, were you dating her the entire time? You married her. It's been months. So I did a little bit more digging, and I looked on her Facebook, and I was trying to figure out like when she put that they were official, and because I'm like, am I good luck?
So social media stalking. Stalking her socials. That's always a good sign. That's a good sign. You're not crazy whatsoever. This is normal. Normal behavior. Oh, that's great. That's good. That's good. That's great. There is not a single thing wrong with what we're hearing. This is what normal people do. Normal people. Normal. 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 Oh my god.
Shop, like you leave me and then you meet the love of your life and then you get married right away, or were you playing both of us at the same time? And according to her Facebook, they were together for sure the entire time that I was dating him. I clearly didn't know. I don't know what kind of deal they had going on, but how would you feel if someone you dated for months got married like that quickly? I don't know how to feel about this.
All right, so here we go again. Another woman upset because the guy she was casually dating for a couple of months went and got married last weekend. But let's break this down and add some perspective, because there's a lot of delusion here. First off, April to almost June is not months of dating. 2 months? That's barely a season. And to be real, she's out here talking about it like it was some long-term, committed relationship. Let's be honest, it was not. It wasn't a boyfriend-girlfriend situation. It wasn't anything serious. And now she's mad because he moved on and got married. Come on, let's clear this up. Spring and summer aren't interchangeable. And dating for 2 months doesn't make this some kind of deep connection that's worth holding on to for dear life. And honestly, the fact that she's making it out to be more than what it was just highlights how some people try to inflate these casual situations into something bigger than they are. Now, here's the reality. Men marry the women in front of them when they're ready. That's just how it works. It's not about how long he's known her, how intense the relationship was, or even if it was a casual thing for a few months. When a man is ready to settle down, he will. And that's probably what happened here. He didn't need months of dating or some drawn-out, emotional roller coaster to make that decision. He was ready. And the woman who was there when he was ready, that's who he married. It might seem strange to some, but it's actually not that complicated. Men don't need to get to know someone for years before deciding to marry them. When they're ready, they're ready. It's not about how much time you've put in or how many hoops you've jumped through. It's about timing. And that's the part that some women really struggle with. They think the more time they invest, the more they can convince a man to be ready for them. But it doesn't work like that. A guy could date you for years and not commit, and then turn around and marry someone he met a few months later. Why? Because at that moment, he was ready to settle down. It's all about timing, not how much history you have with someone. So now she's mad because in her mind, they had something real going on, and now he's married to someone else. But the truth is, it wasn't that deep, and she's upset because she wasn't the one he chose when he was ready to take that step.
This is everything I learned after dating for 4 months in New York City. I want to start by saying that I dated all different types of men, all different types of ages. I don't discriminate and I don't have a certain type. I just give a man a chance if I feel like there might be a connection there, and I'm very quick to cut it off if I find out that I was wrong. So that said, let me break down exactly everything I learned after dating for 4 months in New York City. The first thing I learned is that these men will waste your time. So I learned to start asking very specific questions.
Well, you're living in New York City, so there's your first mistake.
Very early on, so I could determine what type of man I was talking to. And if he gave me answers that I didn't like or I didn't align with, I was very quick to cut him off. The second thing I learned is that a lot of them will flex with the type of dates that they take you on like they have money, but if you actually ask them for money, they can't give it to you because they don't have it. So I learned to not be...
Why would you be asking him for money if you guys are just dating? You know, obviously he shouldn't be flexing the money, but essentially, so first of all, I like that you're asking questions so people don't waste your time. Hopefully, so you're not wasting their time either. And you're just saying, hey man, I don't think we're a match. Thanks for the date. And at some point in time, you would take that information and you would analyze it and use it to look through profiles or hear certain phrases or certain things that happen by observing, even if they don't come up and talk to you and say, no, I don't think this guy is my type. Based on what I've seen, based on what I've heard, I don't think this is for me. But it looks like, and it sounds like you're still wasting their time. That's what that sounds like. But you're just saying you're using questions. So essentially what it's shaping up to be is that you're out here asking questions so that you can continue to do the wrong thing.
Be impressed by any type of day. And obviously, New York City is very different than Toronto, so a lot of the experiences that I had were new to me, and I was impressed. But I realized that I had to act like I wasn't. Like I had to act like it was normal for me. I'm not a good actress. I prefer to be authentic all the time. And so if I feel like a man is trying to impress me with a date and that's it, he doesn't really have anything else to offer me, then I am quick to cut him off. And that's what I ended up doing most of the time. The third thing I realized is to not get emotionally attached to any man, because one thing about New York men is they will be in love with you one day and they will ignore your entire existence the next. So at the first time, I think
that's why you should have been connecting that data or collecting that data and then connecting the dots of it to see which ones are actually wasting your time and which ones are actually genuine and exploring more options with them. But it sounds like you're out here playing around yourself. So naturally, birds of a feather flock together. He's wasting time and so are you. So win-win.
Consistency, I dropped them. I was able to do that easily because I did not get emotionally attached. Fourth thing I realized is that all of them have a roster whether they admit it or not. So if I have...
All men have a roster? All of them? Every single last one of them? They all have a roster? That doesn't sound real. That sounds a little bit like projection.
The slightest inclination that I am on a rotation, I drop the guy I'm talking to. That's why I've been single despite dating for 4 months, because none of these men are satisfied with one girl. But unfortunately, I haven't met one man, let alone two, that can satisfy me. So my roster is currently empty. And the last thing...
So they can't have a roster, but you can.
I learned is that they are focused on getting one thing and one thing only. Can you guess? Yeah, I'm sure you can. And if you say no to them, they flip a switch on you. So I kind of learned to gauge.
I ask men questions to find out if they're a dummy that I'm wasting my time with. But these men, even if all they're focused on is getting it in, I want to cut them off and use them. But if they cut me off and use me, then I'm being taken advantage of. But if I take advantage of these men by trying to ask them for money, because I'm an independent woman who don't need no man, but you know, it's not that I don't need it, it's that I want it. I want them to give me stuff. Then that's okay. That's fine. That's not delusional. That's not selfish. That's not self-centered. That's me prioritizing myself over them, to the detriment of them. Toxicity. I never even met the hoe. Come on. Come on. Come on. How does that make sense? How does that make sense?
Which guys I should be direct with when it came to whether or not I wanted to sleep with them, and which guys I would try to like avoid being direct with and just go home and then not text them again. Because some situations got really messy really quickly. I won't go into detail about that, but basically they're gonna do all this, put on a show, spend money on you, take you out, whatever, so they can try to sleep with you. And if you say no, yeah, good luck. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna stay single.
I at some point in time, I understand that anybody can be a con man and con artist and things of that nature. So I don't want to leave that out. But I do want to say that at some point in time, you should be able to see which people are con artists. You should know how to tell what they're about to do or what they're going for and not even waste your time. You know how you can do that? Probably on a phone call, probably on a FaceTime. That's how you can do that. Believe it or not, it actually works. You can ask questions to see where their head is at. Now, obviously, in a lot of situations, if people are attracted to each other, then there's going to be that chemistry there where you're going to want to do that. That's natural. But for somebody that's the only thing that they want to do, then it's going to be pretty clear based on some of their answers, right? And I get it, once again, there's always exceptions to the rule, right? Some people are just too good at this. They've been practicing, so they know exactly what to say. But not every dude that you come in contact with. Not every dude. Because you have to understand that at least half, 1 in 2, according to statistics, they're not dating anyone. They're not being intimate with anyone. It's probably higher than that. They're not looking to date. So if they're not around women, if they're not looking to date, if they're not interacting with women, then they're probably not going to be that good with women in terms of conning you to the level that you're talking about. I have to put some of that blame back on you and say, at some point in time, based on what you've heard, you need to figure out what you actually do want and start leaning your focus and attention on those types of people.
I wouldn't even say that's the problem. That woman doesn't know what a good man is. So she's comparing active roster fuckboys to retired roster fuckboys. Niggas like me! And good men. Or just guys in general. You don't know how to judge the character of the man. So the second that you go out there and try to find one, you can't find him. Because he's unobtainable. From your position. You can't trust your own veracity. Because if you ask yourself, oh, well, where is he? Where can I find these good men? You won't find them. Because you can't accept that they exist. Every decision is made towards the outcome of I want what I want, and don't you dare tell me that I can't have it. Then you say to yourself, well, that's not fair. Why can't I have what I want? And then you're just up shit creek without a battle. Essentially. Basically. Every single step of the way is just, well, you can't have it because it's not for you. And that can suck. That can definitely suck. That can feel unfair. Is it unfair? No. But does it feel unfair? Probably yes. Not even having to hit the, and this is why blacks. Sometimes it just feels like shit. You know? Sometimes it just feels like shit. That's okay. And gotta be perfect all the time. But there's no way you're dating men back to back to back to back to back and they're all scam artists. There's no way you're dating men back to back to back to back to back and they're all unfair.
or mediocre date, it makes me miss him. It makes me sad because with this one person who I really want to forget about, honestly, just based on how they treated me, based on knowing I deserve better, a vulnerable moment, he felt so right with that person in so many ways. And it sucks because I feel like whenever I have a date that doesn't go really great, or maybe it's a bad date, maybe I just don't feel a connection, it makes me compare it to the last connection that was just like magnetic. I'm sure we've all had somebody in our life that made us feel that intense chemistry. You feel like that's your person.
Alpha Widow is what that's called. What? How does this channel say it? I can't do the fucking text-to-speech voice that the wall uses. But this is a woman who's been stuck on her highest setting. She's been stuck on that dick. Chad seed. The seed of Chad planted inside of her. She can't get away from him. She can't be able to compare any man other than him to him. She is completely cooked. It's a real problem. Recently, Kasog actually was one of the people who came to my birthday dinner, and he asked me for advice because of the dating market around the city that we live in. And I told him straight up, there are 3 kinds of women he's going to find in the dating pool that he has to be prepared to deal with. First kind is going to be women that are going to possibly waste his time. The second problem is going to be women that are going to have kids. And the third problem is going to be women that are crazy. Plus or minus kids. He says he doesn't have a problem with that. I tell him, okay, just keep in mind, if they crazy, it's going to drive you insane. These kinds of women you end up seeing from these TikToks that these channels post. Logical Dating 101 is just a channel. The Wall is one that I would actually blame on this, because they often put this stuff out specifically so that the viewpoint that you come away with is basically, ugh, why would I ever want to be involved with a woman like this? She doesn't care about anyone or anything. Ugh. The basic problem with these channels when they present these viewpoints is that even when you consider what it's doing or who the content is being made for, you still come away from it feeling like the matter of perspective is completely fucking off. Because the high and low expectation just bottoms the fuck out. And it's just never, it never seems like any of the people that are on the app, any of the people that are used as example of these situations, none of them have a functioning value system. Not one. Not a single one. Not a single one has a functioning value system. They're all selfish. They're all evil. They're all mean. They're all crude. They're all rude. They all believe that men just exist to give them money. And if they ever do get told to themselves, hey, you're kind of acting like a fucking monster, it doesn't begin and end there. It's never, hey, you're being a fucking monster, and you should probably stop acting like this, because that is weird. Never happens. Never. Never happens. It's in one ear, out the other.
Because the chemicals in your brain, but then they do things that make you be like, please God, don't let this be my person, they don't treat me right. It's just crazy how much a bad date can make you miss somebody that you shouldn't. I love knowing what I want to feel, but I also now know what I don't want to feel. And I know whoever I end up with, I want that incredible connection with, but also, they have to treat me right. So, that's my TED Talk tonight. Good night.
Alright, let's get into it. Another woman out here talking about how she missed the good guy, but instead chose to date Chad. It's a story we hear over and over again, and it comes down to one thing. She likes what she feels, but doesn't feel what she wants. Let me explain that. She liked the excitement Chad brought, the bad boy vibes, the unpredictability, maybe even the drama. That instant chemistry and thrill, it's intoxicating for a lot of women. But here's the catch. It's not what she actually wants long term. It's just what she feels in the moment. Women like her get caught up in this cycle of chasing after these Chad types. These guys who bring excitement, but offer nothing solid. It's
exactly what I'm saying.
all about the feelings in the now. The adrenaline rush, the physical attraction, the spark. Those short-term emotions can make anyone feel alive. But once the dust settles, they realize that the good guy they overlooked was what they truly wanted all along. She missed the good guy because she didn't want what he brought to the table. Stability, respect, commitment. At least not right then. She wasn't looking for the real, long-term partnership that he offered. Instead, she was focused on the thrill, and she ended up choosing Chad. Why? Because Chad gives her that instant gratification, even though deep down, she knows he's not the one she can build a future with. Here's the harsh truth. She had options, and she made her choice. The problem is, she didn't feel the excitement with the good guy because he wasn't playing the same game as Chad. The good guy wasn't going to be all about drama and excitement. He was about consistency, reliability, and being there when it mattered. But at that moment, that wasn't enough for her. Now, fast forward, and she's sitting here realizing that the good guy she overlooked, that was the guy who would have treated her right. The guy who would have been there for her when things got tough, who wouldn't ghost her, and who wouldn't play games. But instead, she chose the thrill of Chad. And here's the kicker. Chad doesn't care. He's moved on to the next one because he's not looking for a long-term commitment. He gave her that rush, and now she's left feeling empty, wondering why she didn't choose the good guy with no chance. This is where a lot of women get stuck. They like the idea of what the good guy can offer, but they don't feel the same excitement. The reality is, they're chasing after feelings instead of looking for what they truly want, a real, lasting connection. And by the time they figure it out, the good guy has moved on, or they're left regretting their choices.
Palate cleanser. Anyways. Hello, chat. It is the stream that I said we were going to do on Friday, but didn't happen because, long story short, I was told that something was supposed to happen yesterday, and it didn't happen, and my entire mentality was ruined. So here we are today. Where is it? I had it prepared. Here it is. We got several things to look at. Let's begin. Over the week. 5 days ago to be exact. FPS Diesel had a Discord mod and a commentary researcher by the name of Lumi, or excuse me, Nani? Lumi? Going around into their audience's DMs and DMing several people that they work with to do several pieces of work, starting to trauma dump on people, and then trying to use their medical conditions to get pity money from both content creators and community members of those content creators. She gets outed by FPS Diesel and other content creators she's working with, and then starts spurging with extreme TMI to the point of trying to make a Google Doc of her medical information to this edge. She tries to fuck with them. It gets revealed through back channels, receipts, and then demonstration. All of it doesn't make sense if we don't watch it directly, straight line, because this was presented, of course, again, by horror. These videos are going to be very, very hard in context to understand if we try to jump around. So she suggested that we watch them completely through, but we will have them on double speed. First one is going to be FPS Diesel's view, and then the second one is going to be, I don't know who Cope and Seed is, but Cope and Seed's view. Let's begin.
I said it like 2 days ago. Unplug, get a living situation sorted, get some IRL work. I'm not gonna stop paying you. Just prioritize that. You got too much right now to deal with this. I'm trying. I got an appointment for disability. I have PT twice a week. Primary care every 3 months. Injections every 4 weeks. I'm also getting injections at my pulmonologist. My right side is colder than the... Okay, that one's really hot. I want to laugh at somebody's disability, but it's like... It's cold in my room.
It's something that I understand. I'm not going to sit here and deny a lot of Nani's physical issues, mental health issues, and upbringing issues. I will never deny that from her, and I told her that from day one, still won't, even though I've absolved her as my friend. But one of the things is, it cannot be the answer and reason for how you interact poorly with the world around you. Especially because, from my knowledge, and by her own admission, she is lucky enough to have a plethora of medical professionals that are helping her taking care of all of these needs. All of these emergent needs she has a plethora of. And she's made that known to a lot of people, so that's what it is. She's told multiple community members that. Right? So it's really heartbreaking that this is what's constantly it's come to, that despite everyone trying to attempt to help her, or to offer other things. You mentioned the job before. I'm going to tell you something that I don't think I've ever told you, but I tell people this all the time that I know that work from home. I always encourage people to get a remote job. Medical coding, for those who don't know what they're doing in their lives and they're at home and they can't work because of disability, medical coding as a job is really important. It's a fundamental way that some people can help uplift their status. A lot of people are looking for it. I encourage that. I encouraged a lot of things. None of what I ever said in calls or in DMs was ever heated.
So, you know, she's explaining all these medical issues to me and all that, right? And then I say, like, you know, she's telling me I'm not a leech, okay? I'm a little skeptical on that claim now. But, and I tell her, I'm like, hey, I know it's a crap work market right now, but at least you should be able to get disability. Take it one step at a time. What else am I supposed to say? I'm not a doctor. I don't know what half this stuff is that she's explaining to me. I went to art school, chat. I don't know this shit, all right? I'm lucky I know what a pulmonologist is, all right?
Days off!
So this goes on and on. And so now I'm thinking, I need to have a call with Nani. Because I've looked at the chat logs, I've looked at everything. This young lady lied to me about the reality of the situation, right? And then on top of that, right, I start going around and I talk to people. There's various other communities, various other people that I'm speaking to. And man, oh man, do they have something to say. Nani was going to other mods, because some of my mods, they do modding for other creators. She was going to mods and asking the mods, hey, can you get me some paid work with this YouTuber? Can you get me some paid work with this streamer? Right? And they would say no. She's like, hey, can I share my Ko-Fi in the chat? They're like, no. And she really didn't like that. Right? I know that happened with another streamer. Right? I know that happened with you specifically, Palgy.
Yeah, it happened. And I would really try to... Okay, so I paid her for work. If we're being real, I was her employer at a certain point. And I paid her for work. I got one story out of it, and it was someone else's Google Doc. I asked for one thing, and then into a Discord. I mean, I knew what I was getting, but it was still my friend. I know my friend is struggling. She tells me all the time that she's struggling, and now she's in my employ. So what do? I make sure that she is taken care of.
So, in the chat, why are you airing this out? If it's inappropriate for her to discuss it in a workplace, why is it okay for your friend to share some of these details and broadcast to hundreds?
Wait, let's just jump to the center.
One, Nani aired this out publicly first. She did. One, she tweeted about it. Two, tweeted about it twice. She deleted the tweets, deleted her Twitter. Right?
Why the fuck did you jump to the center? I had it at the beginning.
You might have seen some characteristics spurted on the chat, as well as on Twitter.com. In fact, some of you in the community might have even yourself gotten messages from this moderator. Yep, guys, that's right. Unfortunately, something terrible has happened.
Okay.
I didn't want to.
Come see this bacon of Kravitz.
Trying to get her to stop.
Stardust's boyfriend. Okay, makes more sense now.
I don't see a reason to take it down, obviously. Yeah, so, I bet you all been wondering what's happened with Nani. I bet you all been wondering. Nani was a very important person to me in terms of this channel, this community, everything about it, right? I mean, there's a lot to her, right? There's a lot to her, but I'm pissed. I am pissed. I'm pissed because of what's happened, because of what I have to share, and I still have to pull punches. I am going to hide stuff on her behalf still, okay? I know we're on the winning stream, right? Because she has been working with a lot of YouTubers, right? Yeah, done my game. So Nani's been working with a lot of YouTubers for a long time. More than myself, more than anything you see publicly. She's worked with people who make videos, not just streamers. We're talking people who are important, quantifiably, certifiably important YouTubers. And that was fine, that was great, that's good for her, right? But something happened. I'm gonna go over that. Now, Nani put herself in this position. Let that be known. She's constantly and probably gone to many of you in the chat. In fact, I know she's gone to some of you in the chat, right? But she's gone to some of you in the chat and told you all different stories, right? So much so, chat, that some of these stories conflict. Nani as a person is a complicated young lady. I admit that. Shout out to OpBlock for the raid. Thank you guys. You're coming in on a very interesting stream, right? But, you know, Nani's a very interesting lady in terms of creators in this space, right? She'd be my little brother. She was my #1 brother. She was good at her job, good at what she did, but things started to change, chat. Making things different, okay? So I'm going to be showing some DMs, lots of DMs. But boy, oh boy, is she terminally online, and as we go through it, I'll explain things. But if you see something blacked out, that's because, one, that's private business information of other YouTubers. One of the main things is that. I thought Pharaoh was your favorite mod. If Nani's not careful, we can talk about the Pharaoh connection too. Because make no mistake, chat, Nani did not go after Pharaoh for the same reason I went after Pharaoh. No. Nani went after Pharaoh for a very different reason. Yeah, that's right, Nani, I know. You know who told? Pharaoh. Yep. So, bet you're all wondering, what happened with Nani? Let's get into it, shall we? The Silvery Barbs, you are one of the best mods. You don't say anything. You just do what you need to do. These will be scary. I don't need to be scary. The second, listen. In the beginning, I said, let's keep this quiet. Don't be like exposing anybody. She expressed to other people that she wanted to expose people, other YouTubers, right? And I said, don't do that, right? After I said, don't do that in a call, which I will not be putting out just yet, but I could put out if things keep going, right? After I said, hey, Nani, don't keep talking about exposing people, or I will do something. You cross the Rubicon to making a tweet about this, then I go after you, okay? I heard she tried to contact Chris after stream. That's right, she tried to contact everybody. So, let's get some things out of the way first, before that, right? Nani was working with a YouTuber, and she got this job with a YouTuber via her connection with me. She used me as a reference, right? My name was attached to her as a good worker, okay? Now, I did not give her permission to use me as a reference. Now, post hoc, after she used me as a reference, I said it's okay, and I talked to this YouTuber about giving her a position, of which they gave her a contractor position. Not an employee, but a contractor, okay? So she gets this contractor position from me being good with her. Yeah. Slaw, thank you for the 5 gifted. Very base, very base. I don't know why the gifted sound isn't playing. It might be because for something else. Nani was gifted a membership.
Cap.
It's okay to keep it off during this. I think I will. Right. So she got this job because of me. Okay? Because of me. Now, after she had this position with this YouTuber, things were fine for a moment. Now, in my opinion, here's what started to happen. Okay? I've seen the entirety of the logs, and some of you might, I guarantee you, there are multiple people in this chat right now, random chatters, moderators, other YouTubers, who have gotten the private workplace chats with Nani and this other YouTuber. But let me tell you something about those screenshots you might have seen. That is not the entire log. Okay? Beckett has also seen the entire log. He knows that they're taken out of context. I know that they're taken out of context. And I will show you that she presented these things to me in a way that would have gotten me to be adversarial with this other YouTuber. Now, that was really stupid to do because there are a lot of YouTubers I speak to. It's important for me to maintain connections with other YouTubers. That's the business. That's the social aspect of the business. So when I looked into it and I found out, oh my god, Nani clip chimped these. She screenshotted these in a way that made it look out of context. Well, now I can't make a joke about how shocked I am by all of this. Thanks, Diesel, ruined my fun. I'm so sorry, Beckett. I'm so sorry. I forgot. I was in a moment. So, I got those messages and then I saw the logs and I went, oh, Nani lied to me. Why would she lie about this? That's not cool. I don't like that. This is somebody I trust with like lots of really important information, right? And here she is misrepresenting something from somebody who I'm friendly with the intention of me, like, what, cutting them off? Who's that hurting but me? You know? So, once I learned that, and I read these messages, now you guys might see how Nani had acted in the community for a long time, and I let her do that. That's my responsibility. I let that happen. I encourage that behavior. But I encourage that behavior because Nani did good work for us. Because Nani was my friend. Because I cared about her, okay? Because I wanted to see her succeed. Because I wanted to make sure she had opportunity. Because I understand struggle is hard, and I'm not an asshole, right? And I let her do that. But here she is in this work group chat. And in the work group chat, oh, I'm going through blah, blah, blah migraines. You guys saw earlier in the chat, she was talking about how disabled she is, how much pain she's in, how bad her life is. She talks about that a lot in this work group chat. Not with friends, but her employers, okay? Now, those things are true. Those things are true, and we know they're true. And I'll explain where Nani leaked the Google Drive of all of her medical paperwork, which, again, I'm not going to show that because I'm not a crazy person. But she has been. That's what's in the Google Drive, and why my mods may have asked you not to open them. Because we don't want you to have access to Nani's medical records. To have access to the fact that Nani went through some stuff at home, right? I'm not going to do that. But she did that with me. She talked about my business, right? But here she is in this work GC, and she's talking to these other YouTubers, saying how bad her life is. And this is bad, not great at all. But then sometimes it would be things like, I got in a car accident, blah, 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 I'm not feeling well, my bones hurt, blah, 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 I'm in pain and I have no money, followed by a picture of the bill she got from the insurance company. Now, guys, when somebody gives you a sob story and then ends it with a bill, what are they asking of you?
Money! Money!
Because to me, it's like she wanted money. Yeah. It's a lot of that, And I put aside a lot of that because Nani did good work. I said, Nani, you can chill your Ko-Fi in my chat. Nani, I'm fine with you talking about your GoFundMe in the Discord server. Go ahead, go do those things. But the more that this went on, the more egregious it became. It went from, I'm going through pain, to, I'm just having a bad day. Can I have some money? I have messages like that personally from Nani. I think it was the day before I got rid of her from the server. She asked me for money because of her phone, okay? So, I should tell you, I personally gave Nani hundreds of dollars. She's been making hundreds of dollars from other YouTubers. After talking to other YouTubers, and talking to my mods, and talking to community members, and talking to everybody around me, okay? I can tell you in these last 9 months, Nani has made more than me. That's how much money she was making, saying, I'm going through a rough time. Stuff's hard. Can I have some money? And again, after adding it up, she was making more money than me. And she was asking me for money. So the question is, where the fuck did this money go? I thought about it, and honestly, I have no other way to explain her erratic behavior than drugs. That's just my opinion. Nani herself admits that she's been on a lot of medication her entire life. I don't know if that's what it is. That's what it looks like to me. I don't really have an answer for that, but that's just what it looks like. It looks like it might be going to drugs. I hope it's not. I hope I can do money to that. I hope that's not the reality of it. Maybe it is. Alright? Again, I'm not going to show her medical stuff, but she did. She put a lot of that in her Google Drive. And I'm sorry if you guys gave money to her and now you feel bad. Please don't feel bad. When I made the comment about sympathy scamming in the Discord server, that was because she was privately going to members and big donators in the community, and she was targeting big donators to get money from them. Okay? And I understand. Life is tough. Things are hard. And I understand that she's looking to get disability. Now, looking into it, there's a possibility this entire time she's had disability. Which means, I would expect her to get $10.99 from PayPal with the money she was making. But she was making a lot. Okay? During the Scarlet stuff, I gave her a big sum of money for...
Yep.
Here's how it started, chat.
Stream skipped.
You yap too close to the sun. Yeah. Whoops, whatever. That's life. Listen, the reality of it is that she's been saying stuff about me, and I'll get to what she's saying about me in a little bit, okay? Because she's been trying to turn the entire community against me. She's been sharing a lot of personal details that I need to talk to you about now, right? So she's asking, right, can you vouch for me to my employer, a YouTuber, right? And there's some other YouTubers that she's asked for money and work for, but too. Yeah, my account is negative due to the YouTuber. I really need what I deserve. You need to elaborate on this. Well, that was a bit harsh. I'm upset. Me to you, basically, I'm paid $100 per story and for updates. Me saying it's in the negative due to him is harsh. And now, for some reason, this is the case. I've been talking with his manager, and he said he'd get back to me, and he hasn't yet. When did you talk to the manager, right? So, Nani was collating information and gathering it together for YouTubers in order for them to make videos. In my opinion, she wasn't doing that. In my opinion, she was doing commissions fraud. Okay, that's my opinion. In my opinion, she was doing that because they would describe what it is, right? They would describe what it is, like they needed her to do, and then she would go, do that. But she wouldn't do what they were saying to do. She was basically Discord content farming again, I see. Quite, this one's not funny, that's the problem, right? And I actually do want to talk to you about this quite off stream, obviously, but because it's been very stressful. As funny as it is, for some people, it's kind of funny. I've been miserable because of this psychotic bitch, okay? Right, so I asked, when did you talk to the manager? Yesterday, he said everything was on hold and he'd give me an update. You need me, boss? You know what, Fauci, you can hop in, because you've been at the center of this too. Don't make an oopsie like I did. I think it's really funny that Craig is in here.
Hello.
Hello, Fauci.
This is a day.
We've been at the center of this chat. You see, we are public enemy number 1.
Oh yeah. If the way I put it is, if Diesel is Joe Terrell, I am Star Platinum. I guess that's how this will work.
What an absolute dork, bro.
Yeah, but you loved it, so don't even start.
Yeah. So, basically, you know, I'm going through the messages now.
Yeah,
I'll share some so you can see.
Thanks, bud.
Hopefully that this doesn't like lag like it did last time.
What quality do you have that?
720p, 15 frames.
That's fine. It should be
Yeah,
fine.
It should be fine. Right. Well, do not get started on Craig. You know what? Honestly, given everything that's happened, I would not be surprised if Nani helped instigate that situation. Okay. I go on to say, when did you talk to the manager? He said everything was on hold and he'd give me an update. I'm just so confused and angry since I've been paid for updates in the past and was told to move things over for this month, which I was told by the YouTuber. My account is negative, Diesel. So the way she's portraying it right now is that, you know, these YouTubers let her go poor, right? And they're just, you know, they're not paying her what she's.
The YouTuber let me go poor. The YouTuber let me go poor. How many times has that happened within the last few years? I can't remember a number off the top of my head. Usually it tends to be something more like, I'm being monetized unfairly, I'm being taken advantage of. The usual suspects are getting money out of me for free for nothing. Please help. I'm being abused. I can't remember the last time there was a story about a YouTuber or a YouTuber assistant basically trying to sympathy scam for money. It's not clicking to me. Or probably has a better memory of the most recent ones than myself. I think the volume is on max settings. Yeah, the volume's on max settings.
Oh, right. And so I'm asking for clarification. So move last month's payment to this month. At this moment, guys, I don't know what's going on. I figured it's just some kind of clerical error. I did. They said it wasn't valid. What do you mean? Last month's work wasn't valid? Can we call? It's hard to explain. If it's not good, 1 sec. All right. So this goes on. We call for an hour, and I'm basically explaining to her, I'm like, okay, well, you don't really understand, like, what they're doing, right? I was under the impression that these YouTubers and their management hadn't talked to her. They did. Not only did they talk to her, they provided training and appropriate accommodations for someone like her. They went above and beyond to make sure that this person that wasn't trained could be trained and be good at what they're doing. And this was easy work. Even if she was doing exactly what she was assigned, she would have been making good money, and it would have been easy work, okay? So we call for an hour, and I say, well, it sounds like you guys didn't have, like, a full-on, like, agreement. Did you have anything in writing, blah, blah, blah? And I say to her, well, you know, in the future, make sure to have things in writing. So she adds this section to her profile, and she says, make sure to say that I'm, you know, get a contract, right?
Yeah,
she messages me a little while later, and she says, I just got fired, Diesel. I'm so angry. Now, Fauci, you were also getting these messages at the same time.
Oh, was I?
Unbeknownst to me, you and I were both being told the same thing.
Yeah, so when I was getting these messages, my messages were, and I don't mind sharing, I reached out to you, as one should, because I saw a friend spiraling out of control and not listening to anything I would tell them to do. I asked them to calm down, they wouldn't. Now, I understand that monetary sources are something too hard to come down from, but it was always portrayed to me as a misunderstanding of finances, payment, and everything, that part of it would be rectified, but moving forward, it would be less than what she expected, which was what she was frustrated by, to the point where she would say, I want revenge on this creator, and I'm going to warn people from ever working with them again.
Mm-hmm. And because of Nani's reputation, people are afraid of her. Lots of YouTubers are afraid of her. They're afraid that she will retaliate and dox. Okay? Which is partly why I'm doing this stream. So if she takes revenge on anybody, it should be me. Okay? Should be me. But Nani, don't do it. I think you don't want to do it now. Because I think you're afraid. I think you're afraid that I'm up here streaming. And I'm calling you out on this fucking charade that you're doing. Alright? And it gets worse, chat. Alright? So she says this isn't fair. I gave ways to work things out. Now, by the way, chat, I saw the full argument. She was just spurting and basically demanding. Okay? She was not negotiating shit. Alright, she was very strongly, like, in one way about it. It was pathetic. She wasn't doing what she should have been. She didn't take any of my advice. She literally just ignored me. I don't know why the fuck I spent time with her on a call if she didn't take any of my advice. Okay? And I say, did you give them time to wait for the manager to get back to you? The answer to that question is no, by the way. No. She says, yes, they fired me. That's a lie. So they sent you a message saying, we don't need your work anymore. And she says, yes. I'm livid. May you share this with me? I'm curious what they said. Right? So I was under the impression that they let her go without explaining it to her or anything like that. And I'm always the kind of person who I want to know at least some reason why I was let go or anything like that. Right? And she does seem pretty good at digging up information. Well, that's interesting. Because Beckett is also great at that and has gotten Nani wrong multiple times. Like guys, with the Scarlet stuff, she was dead set thinking that guy was 36. Scarlet is not 36.
I kept telling her he wasn't. I kept explaining to her there's no way. It didn't make any sense. And she was like, no, I'm right. No, I'm right. And
But it seems more salacious if he is 36. So she kept saying it. And we trust her information. So we would have published false information if we ran with that and we didn't double check it. Right? So I asked if she could share, and she says, I left the group chat. I was too upset. That's on me. But I know it's related to this from what I summarized. I was in physical therapy when this happened, so I was really unhappy. I know they linked other documents that are from this month, which had me confused, which have been used in videos. So clearly it was good. I should have taken screenshots, but I also hadn't eaten. I just had my sandwich at like 5. No, 6.
Oh god, the sandwich.
Okay, I'm gonna look into it, but I'm gonna tell you to take some time off, at least from researching in my community from now on. I really think you need to unplug for a bit. Chat, I kept trying to give this woman a way to stop. Alright? I offered to pay her while she took a break. Alright? I offered to pay her when she went on vacation. She says, maybe I will. People know me better than I do when it comes to this. Not what I mean by maybe. I just like researching and figuring things out, though I can see why it needs a break. I get the itch. Yeah, I get a spur fixation. I quite frankly do not wish to work with them again. But I do want some more reimbursement.
So I want to stop here, and I want to stress something very important. I can only speak for myself and a lot of things that went on, but there were a lot of us who were her close friends that were constantly worried about her. And I know that there was community members when they saw it, and they would constantly ask us, is she okay? We would have these conversations with her a lot, and she would never listen. She would tell us yes, she would tell us what we wanted to hear, but we knew that she wasn't going to heed anything that we said. And we'd have to bide our time until we could stave off another explosion.
Yep, that would happen all the time. I was friends with Nani for a really long time, and I basically became her therapist. So after a while, I stopped having those kind of conversations with her because it was stressful. Because Nani, and if you are a chat member who's friends with Nani, you've probably gotten plenty of these messages where she talks about her physical or mental health, and then she provides graphs, chat. She provides graphs so you can understand her esoteric medical issues. Okay?
Graphs? Oh, Denson. Trauma dumping is one thing. Antagonism farming is another. You were making motherfuckers take a 401k vision method training so they can understand how busted, achy, and broken your bones are as you then stick your hand out like a gross sister? Fucking. Oh, God.
It's above my pay grade, and I've been beyond nice because I have shared things with Nani in the past, not anymore, but I will get to that because she has told many of you about that. And now I gotta talk about it, right?
There is a distinct diesel drop-off to Falgi drop-on graph with the therapist shit, and the every medical issue under the sun has existed.
Alright, she says, I'm not gonna survive this month money-wise. They know I can't afford anything right now either, and still did this. Chat, I've said this before, I make literally McDonald's wages doing this, okay? But I would still give because I cared about her, right? So, she says that, and then September 6th rolls around. Nani puts together a thread on Dr. Disrespect, okay? I told her not to, but she did it anyway. Now, I'll admit a fault here. Unfortunately, FPS Diesel was lazy and used it, but I will say this. Nani, it was some of the worst work you did for me. That thread sucked. It just did. Right? So she sends that, ignoring my plea for her to stop. Any updates, by the way? I'm gonna be stranded at a synagogue. Guys, Nani's gonna be homeless! By the way, I don't think she's gonna be homeless, actually. I think she's got an older relative that's going to be paying for her housing until they either drop dead or she figures out how to take care of herself. But don't worry, to me, I think she's gonna be homeless. Right? This YouTuber letting her go is gonna bankrupt her. She's gonna be living in a box, chat. Okay? Any update, by the way? Which, by the way, Nani will say, I told Diesel not to look into this. Oh, really? After begging me and saying you're gonna go homeless and that life is hard because this thing happened to you? You want me to stop now? But you were just begging left and right for me to look into this. No, you're begging left and right for me to agree with you. Right? To ruin my relationships. For your own what? Pathetic win? Right? I'm gonna be stranded at a synagogue. Thankfully, someone helped me out. This just made me angry and upset. I even told them I wouldn't be able to pay my bills this month, and they tossed me aside anyway over something that's a miscommunication. This month is also the anniversary of my half-brother's death, so this isn't helping that either. Again, I'm not going to talk about any of those things. She's talked about these things on her own, and she shouldn't be, but she's done that. She goes on to say, my bras are falling apart too. I need some new ones, because it's starting to hurt me. The anniversary...
Okay. Let's go through a very quick pantomime chat. Oh my god, guys, you guys have to understand the shit that's affecting me in my personal life is so hard. Like, I might go starving. Something's directly affecting me in my personal life with my family. Bro, I just gotta be able to talk about the 1150 billion things on the record that really people don't need to be needing to see and hear, that occasionally sometimes they can hear on the fucking voice chat. It's so nice that people send money for my parental figure that I'm contracted as a caretaker of. Hey yo guys, I need to buy new underwear. The Jangalang songs that I use with my wife ain't swinging my meat the way I need to. No. 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 See, it's not as egregious because she's a woman. This is fucked up. No matter what gender you are. But the heinousness to go to other people saying, hey, can you give me money? My undergarments are pinching me. That's a level of TMI that would have me tapping the fucking bell immediately. I'm already uncomfortable. I'm already uncomfortable. No.
History of my half-brother's death is also coming up. I really wish he was still alive so I could meet him. Suicide is never the answer. I just don't even address any of that.
I never met him. Oh, no.
Fucking anime protagonist background right there. Like I might go homeless. My bras are ruined. My half brother is dead and gone, and I wish I could meet him. Jesus, it's a whole insect combo. It is the scammer grift insect combo into the sympathy dump. Jesus Christ.
Honey.
I say yesterday was my day off, but I gave them 48 to 72 hours, like I said, during our conversation. Anyway, that YouTuber and I should be talking today. Ah, I see. I'm nervous. It's fair that some updates were only like one link, but I just followed the rules. I'm paid for updates, plus I'm told to move to August, blah, 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 blah. Here's how my work works. That's really it. Alright, I followed the rules literally. I just deserve more than $360. Chat, I should tell you that this work was not worth $360. Okay? It might have been worth $50.
Barely, if I'm being honest. If you want me to be fucking real, I can do the work.
This is stuff that you guys do for fun in the server for free. And she was making above minimum wage, working like maximum an hour or two.
And something like really important to note too is that you guys are doing that. Like, we trusted Nani with a lot of sensitive information, right? And if you think that she's sharing this much right now about her own personal life, the chances are, for those who she was in your DMs, she was constantly sharing stuff like this. There wasn't a stopgap, despite every best effort of myself, of Diesel, or the closest people around her to ask her to relax.
Yeah, she would overly share with some members of the community about lots of different drama stories. We have people who were formerly sources who became community members, and she would just inundate them with information and make them uncomfortable. And that's another thing that's unacceptable, right? Like, she has been trying to defame me, and that's fine, whatever, you know, another day, another fucking villain for the fucking, you know, rogues gallery. But you guys shouldn't have to be on the receiving end of that. And then I understand why a lot of people are afraid of her, because she's developed this reputation as like some Sherlock Holmes-esque character. She's not that. She's not a Sherlock Holmes-esque character. Nope. She is just a spurg. She is an idiot. She hasn't been able to keep her head on straight. She's bad under pressure. Okay, she is bad at this. Period. She's bad at this. You know why Nani's good at researching things? Because I was good at researching things. Okay, I spent a lot of time working with her to make her the person that she became, and I will undo her my fucking self. All right. So I tell her, in my professional opinion, paying you, irrespective of if the content makes it into a video, is wild. Writers don't get paid unless an article gets published in contract work. She says, yeah, again, I'm following rules. I see the confusion, but they refuse to work with me. They did multiple times try to work with her. She ignored it. Right. So again, moved the month of August. Blah 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 blah. All right.
Now, Chad, I want you to know that I'm getting very similar messages at this time, but they are becoming more unhinged. They're becoming more concerning. They're becoming about hate, about revenge, about wanting to get back, about fairness.
So while to me she was begging, to Fauci she was plotting her ultimate recourse, her win, right? Talking like a fucking anime villain. Like, bro, are you fucking kidding me? Okay, little guys, I understand that we hyped her up, right? But it went to her fucking head, and she felt she was deserving of this. That she was the one who wins, right? She was like, I made Diesel type things, right? That's the kind of shit she would do. All right, 8. Let's see. I'm following rules. And I say it depends on the amount of labor done, really. And she says, yes, but that was never negotiated. Also, a lie. It was negotiated, and it was very generous. And I said he'll share screenshots with me, so I'll know more soon. Yeah, I'm so scared. So it's like, whatever. I'm admitting what caused confusion now. I'm more mad that they refused to work with me to solve the issue. At the end, I was like, okay, take the updates you feel is valid and toss away the rest. And I say, if you pulled the trigger, left the group chat, and walked away before negotiating, they feel more inclined to not negotiate. Which is true. She says, nope, I tried negotiating. They let me go. And the manager said you're fired. So now I'm trying to figure out what exactly happened. Yep, they're letting me go and thanking me for the help thus far. But you don't have screenshots of that exchange. I have some. I said not to send them earlier. That's right, chat. When she said, I have screenshots to me, I said, those are work-related. Don't send those to me. But now, I'm going to be talking with said YouTuber. So now I want the screenshots to compare to see if something's wrong. So all of that is personal stuff. It's either related to payroll, or stories that are being worked on, or information that should not be public to anybody. The YouTubers involved do feel that me doing this is punching down, which I understand and I vehemently disagree with. I think punching down is imaginary and something that people think exists, but it doesn't. If you're going to do something wrong, you can be criticized for it, irrespective of size. Nani decided to get in the ring. She talked shit. Now she's getting hit. That's just how it works, right?
I don't like the idea of the punching down, punching up, punching aside, punching across philosophies, for the exact same reason that Diesel just laid out. I personally do not like the perspective of it's wrong to ever criticize a person. You can't tell people that they're wrong for the things they do because you're bullying them. You're making them feel bad because they don't have the ability to fight back. And that's just not true. The majority of the time, half the people who get involved in these situations know that if they just play victim, they never have to take accountability because no one's going to hold them to accountability for exactly that reason. Oh, they're too small of a content creator. They're not really hurting anybody. You're just bullying people that can't fight back. And in many ways, this can be true. But we know the difference between a person who's not involved and a person who is involved. You wade into the ring, and you try to basically play a gambit where we're UFC fighters. You specifically start tapping on the ring mat because you know you have enough points to be able to get to the next round without actually having to face real direct competition. And you're smug about the fact that you believe you're under a protective status. that already tells me that you don't deserve to have the protected status. And considering the social games people choose to play when it comes to content creation, that's half the reason we're usually ever inundated with this level of behavior to begin with. It usually comes from that place. I would like for it to not be like that, but, you know, you can't control those things. Not really. Not as much as a person would want to control them in a sheer capacity for perspective and knowledge. But that tends to be the case. They want to do a certain thing. Their viewpoint and endpoints begin and end from, well, this is how I feel, versus this is the reality of what I've done. So when a person acts like this, I am never one to give them an out just because they're too small. I don't believe in that, because half the time, the people who are small become big because they never got called out when they were doing it when they were small. Because, who am I? Most of BreadTube gets away with this. It's anyone who can do it, but most often, the people who are frequently saying you can't punch down are the same people who then punch down frequently. So they're hypocrites to begin with anyways. So I don't give mercy to hypocrites, for one. But then for two, especially sometimes when I'm playing video games, live on the channel, right? There will be people who will come through and they will behave in a certain way because they expect to get away with it for free because they're either somebody who comes from a place that was told about something, or more often what tends to happen, it's some person existing within the protective status under someone else, believing that because they're under that protective status of that person, that they can't have their soul snatched, that they can't have their weave snatched. And off precedent, it requires it. You gotta talk shit, you're finna get hit. I don't care who you are. And we have gotten into this position in social media where the size of the person somehow is a shield. I believe the most common argument that gets used is they've forgotten more about the subject matter than you can ever know. And what the fuck does that have to do with the fact that this man just talked about my family directly? What does it have to do with the fact that this person is attacking me about shit that they certainly do not know? They're just repeating what they saw on a website. Especially when we start talking about Kiwi Farms. Or any other drama posting website. Or any drama posting YouTuber. Or any drama posting inner circle. This is pretty much, I'm pretty sure, the reason why I'm blocked by Nicholas Diorio, because both myself and Jay saw him do something extremely cringy and weird with a fucking leftist YouTuber from BreadTube. We criticized him. He didn't like that. He blocked both of us. It is what it is, but I'm not finna to sit here and let stupid shit happen in front of me and not talk about it. If somebody blows themselves up with a bomb, I'm not going to be the guy that's going to sit there saying, oh my god, that's so horrible. I'm going to be the guy sitting there saying, oh my god, that's so horrible. Why did you light the fuse before you put on the accelerant? That was made to burn for longer, dummy. I'm gonna say what I'm seeing. I'm gonna see it, and I'm gonna see it, and I'm gonna say it, and then I'm gonna move on with my life. Because I'm not finna bite my tongue. Because realistically, criticizing people for punching down is biting your tongue. For the good of all mankind, you must let this person get away with the jangling. You must let them get away with the jangling, but I can't. I'm not allowed to. My brain won't let me. Because half the time, when we don't see something and say something, people then say there's no proof of this thing happening. You can't prove that it exists. And then it becomes necessary that you start documenting all the little things a person tries to get away with, so that in the face of a greater thing, when they're trying to get away with murder, you can't get them get away with petty larceny. That's what I'm trying to equate it to. Because half the time, many of these news stories we end up covering, they extend from small little things, blowing up into big things. And then when you go across the timeline with the research YouTuber in-depth commentary, deep dive, all of those little things are part of the compulsory behavior of the content creator. I'll lay it out like this. Let's say somebody tried to make an expose video about me. How do you put together an expose video? What do you want to expose me for? Let's start with behavior. The behavior then leads into incidents. Those small incidences start compiling up into a larger story. Because now we're talking about a narrative. You need to define the character. You need to define the behavior so that you can then define the timeline. Develop the timeline of the behaviors and the actions, no matter how petty and small, until they coalesce and metastasize into a big situation. Then, after they metastasize into a big situation, you demonstrate how all these things would have been obvious if people would have just opened their eyes. Let's do this with Ubisoft. Ubisoft is about to get acquired by Tencent on behalf of Guillemot. Guillemot. It's a French company, Carl. You have to roll your MLT. Tencent potentially is going to be acquiring Ubisoft on behalf of Guillemot for billions of dollars. How did Ubisoft get here? Was it just because of people hating the woke with Assassin's Creed Shadows? Did they reject the black man? Ooh woo. Cuckoo Kachu. Thank you for that $20, Dave. Obviously no. The story about Ubisoft getting acquired by Guillemot and Tencent doesn't just begin and end with the last thing that fucking happened. Why is my fucking sound not playing? Where's my Teamstat update? No, the alert's alive. That one's just working extremely slowly. I'll do that in a second, Dave. It didn't just begin with Assassin's Creed Shadows. No. It was multitudes of other games. It was multitudes of other outings. It was multitudes of other stories, all coalescing into the same problem. Nintendo versus Pocket Bear. They didn't just randomly come up out of fucking nowhere, right? They didn't just randomly start attacking people over considerations of nothing. They didn't just sue them out of nowhere. No. Nintendo chose to place a patent. They chose to try and place a patent after the game was made, to try and stop them from having the ability to make a game mechanic that involves throwing a ball at an object. They tried to patent the action of throwing. And then they tried to attack them inside the Japanese courts, because in the American legal courts, they would have no fucking leg to stand on, because the precedent doesn't only not exist, it is clear bullshit. And then take any example of anything that happens to come that we've covered on the Fried Chicanery, or that I've covered myself live on air, with the same level of research, either from myself, from horror, or from members of the community and audience, or even from those that are watching from Twitter, because even Twitter members have been giving me tips, these stories, and leads. If we all had the attitude of, they're too small to be criticized, because that's not really the reason why we don't believe in punching down. I can tell you the actual reason. If we all had the mentality that there is never anything that should be criticized when the person is under a certain number, then the majority of the content creators that exist would not have gotten the platforms they've gotten, because it's all based on a Tencent economy. And the actual reason why we don't believe in punching down is because if the person who's punching down against you is an absolute fucking spurg, then you will give attention to something that you probably would not want them to see otherwise. Which is, I'm going to call this the QB Farms effect. And for this, we can use no better an example than Keffels. Keffels wanted to sell and brag about selling HRT DIY hormones on the internet through Bob posting and their DIY website. Promoted on the online chat, promoted in the offline chat, promoted inside the Discord that they claimed they didn't own and they weren't a part of. Blase blase. Kiwi Farms digs into it. Destiny digs into it. They get terrified and they run. They start doing the usual thing. You're attacking a small content creator. You're attacking a trans person. You're trying to bully me into silence. None of that happens if you don't open your mouth to say these things. But should they have not talked about it? Let's answer that question with another question. Mark Kern has scammed thousands of dollars, at least hundreds of thousands of dollars out of people from Firefall, Emirate, and has now decided to jump into the grift of acting like he is a games journalist, repeating posting article links, and trying to rally post anger and animosity, although sometimes they're relevant enough to be used as a source link, but antagonize and rally animosity towards people by, instead of focusing on the news story, instead of focusing on the drama of the news story, without ever actually doing any real work about the details. Or talking about video games that he's not currently playing, and giving some kind of air of negativity to the story, instead of focusing on the actual meat and potatoes of the story. And then referencing the said details of the story with a link, and then discussing further. Jumping from topic to topic to topic, to group to group to group, to audience to audience to audience. And even people in the audience that he's trying to grift into, and people witnessing him that are against him, that are on the opposite side of the aisle, all noticing, damn, niggas really don't want him nearby anything that they happen to be a fan of. I wonder why that is. Why does that happen? The answer is because there's no such thing as a person being too small. There is such a thing as a person not being relevant whatsoever. Why would Grums be relevant the same way that Kevils could be relevant? Because they're doing bad things, or behaving in a way that is leading to bad outcomes. Does that mean that anytime a person does something that could potentially have a bad outcome for everybody, that it's your job to put your foot on their neck? No, it's not. Where it becomes your concern is when it directly starts involving the shit that you directly get involved in. Because now, you're jumping on grenades. You throw your body on the grenade to try and save yourself from a worse outcome, and to save somebody else from a worse outcome. But if you do it the wrong fucking way, you break the fucking building you're trying to shelter. The building being, of course, an audience, a community, or a space. I'll give you another example. Evo. Evo is now currently owned by Sony. How did that happen? I can tell you how that happened. Oops, all pedophiles. Oh, my name's Joey Calaire, and I don't like that Yuki Nakatora and another fucking Asian YouTuber is doing a fucking promotional stream for Dead or Alive 6. Oh my god, breasts? Those are not my core values. But you know what is my core values? Cinnabai. Creeping on puppy for 5 years straight. Blasian content creator. Blasian content creator. Getting right on top of a young boy, a young, defenseless 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old FGC competitor, and fucking his brains out. What's a FGC core value? Every homosexual FGC competitor all doing creep shit on the low and on public. What's another core value? Joey Calaire himself, Mr. Wizard, the original owner of FGC, being exposed for all of this because he was telling those members, competitors, announcers, organizers, to do the shit because they were all in on it. Chest is scratchy. I'll just that in 1 second, DJ. All of those things come to a light, and this happened in 2020, which was EVO Online. What happened because of that? Because of EVO Online. Every single sponsor pulled their support and their games out of the tournaments. They had no games to play! So EVO gets shut down. Their name is Mud now. Was that something small that shouldn't have been revealed? Was he too small of a fry to hit? No, he was responsible for Tier 2 and Tier 3 esports. So, Sony buys the entire game system, they buy the entire ownership over EVO, and now it's under the Sony brand. This, by the way, is why all the FGC games have been pushing for censorship. Because, and it's not just based on one guy with his quirked up nude oiled mod of Chun-Li in Street Fighter 5 or 6. It's because they are owned and bought and sold by Sony of America. Sony of America, the same hypocrites that believe that you cannot have bodacious women wearing bikinis and thongs, but you can have bodacious women and fully exposed men being decapitated and brutalized in hilarious and graphic fashion with all the levels of graphical fidelity while they try to convince you that the PS5 has games. The philosophy of not wanting to bully somebody who's just a guy existing for having a single opinion is held in the exact same moral standing of allowing known content creator cockroaches to get away with cockroach opinions and allowing literally who content creators or potential up-and-coming content creators to get away with cockroach opinions. And this is why I don't like it. I do not like that people will say, morally, I shouldn't be allowed to do this, and blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. I would like them to be smart. I'd like all people to be smart, especially when it comes to behavior like this, because we are in a time period right now where we're in the middle of a second culture war of resurgence. And the only way to deal with the culture war of resurgence is to know how to hold your tongue, and to learn when you need to hold them and when you need to fold them, or when something is not worth fighting over. You have to learn how to pick your battles, and many people do not know how to pick their fucking battles to begin with, whatsoever. However, just on the topic of the drama that we're looking at here, it is really important to remember that just because you consider yourself to be a non-combatant doesn't mean that you're safe from getting criticized, period. Just because you are a community member of a popular content creator and YouTuber doesn't mean that you can't get, ousted for some shiesty shit that you're doing. Just because you are a relatively known figure level of a big popular YouTuber doesn't mean that you can't get Yoko Ono'd into irrelevancy, and therefore, well, all those people under me, even though I'm a million view content creator, it doesn't matter that a 1 million sub content creators criticizing me because they're small potatoes compared to... No, that's retarded. That's retarded. Extremely. Now, on the matter of Triple J wanting to be unbanned, I'm going to direct that towards my mod. I'm going to direct that towards Horror. And you'll have to talk to her about that. I'll send her a screen cap of that. And I'll let her handle that situation. If it ends up being a yes or a no, it's not going to be because of my hands. Because more than likely, if I didn't ban her, if I didn't ban them, she banned them. And if that's the case, that's a discussion. Okay. Okay. Yeah. If it's Harvey, then it's probably going to be a no. I will say this. I'm not quite mellowed out when it comes to the question of people asking for unbans because of shit that they know that they're doing. We know the reason why we banned Harvey, and in Harvey's case, what he's chosen to do is extremely beyond the pale, and probably is not going to be unbanned. If not ever, just currently not at this time. However, I will say as a blanket statement, I don't believe in permanent extradition to the degree of a simple social faux pas gets you removed for forever. But when people act the way that Harvey did, with the things that they chose to do in other people's DMs, that is where we're probably going to say probably no, not ever. However, simply because I have no idea who's going to look at this in the future, I would say the proper means to ask us about this for communication, probably not in the middle of a stream. I'm not upset with you, I'm just explaining. If a person wants to be unbanned, they need to either go to the unbanning section of my Twitch, especially if they were banned on Twitch, and they need to go to the unban request queue, and they need to place an unban request. And they need to pour their heart out. Otherwise, they need to send a DM to my Twitter and also send a formal letter of apology laying out what they did, why it was wrong, and why it's unacceptable. By doing this, it will then be easier for everyone in collective to be able to deal with issues and situations instead of having to ask directly in the chat room. The only reason why I ask that, well, actually no, multiple reasons. One of the reasons why I ask that is because I don't disagree with having friends try to liaison on behalf of other people. It's just a question of the people in question and what they did. So it's kind of necessary in that situation, especially for Harvey's case. I don't know if we'll ever undo that. I'm pretty sure Horror might say, absolutely not, we will never do that, but it's what it is. Yeah, it's not your fault, Denzen. It's totally not your fault, dude. Anyways, back to this.
But here she is sharing his personal information about this YouTuber, about the business, how it actually works, all of that, right? And it continues to go on. She sends a lot of screenshots, but interestingly enough, tons of these screenshots are missing context, right? She says, I clearly explained my confusion. She didn't. And I expressed a way to solve it. As you know, I take things literally. That's true. Everything triggered that migraine of mine. Oh my god, the fucking migraines. Now, I believe she does actually have all these physical disabilities and all these things, but I think she actually uses it to garner sympathy and make money from people. It's a great way to make money from people if you're somebody who's disabled or had a hard life, because everybody's had struggles. I've had struggles. She talks about my struggles, right? She tries to use that as a way to get to me. But again, she's using it to get money from people. In my opinion, that's what she's doing. Okay, that's why I say it's a sympathy scam. Doesn't mean it's a lie. It just means that she's doing it for less than altruistic means. She would much rather sit at home, smoke weed, and have all of you pay her bills than her go get a job.
How is she able to smoke weed? Like, how are you affording money for weed? Wait a minute. How are you getting money for weed? How are you getting money for weed and you have all these medical problems? And worse, you have all these medical bills. How are you affording it? She's gotta be Canadian, right? Yeah, I have to agree with Hoarder. Hello, Callum. Welcome.
Right, but again, look, more personal information. What does this imply? The payment sheet, the updates, move to August. Everything looks good. By the way, chat, not going to just me. Fauci also got it, as well as other creators and moderators. All right, the chances of this breaking containment were very high, right? And so I'm coming out ahead and nipping it in the bud now. Because, oh, let's see, Nani is also friends with notorious leakers like Mango, or various other people in the community. And we'll get to various other people, one of which being Josh, her boyfriend, who she keeps begging me not to bring into this, who is directly involved, by the way, but she tries to say isn't involved at all. But this guy's a real piece of fucking work, and I'm so glad he's gone.
Oh, I have words. When we get to that point, I have words. Josh, buddy, I know you're watching. It's good to see you.
Now, you know, Josh was streaming before the stream, and he got off of stream because he was having a little panic attack, but I was gonna go live, and I might, stream snipe him to his 12 viewers. Hold on, I got a message.
You're good to go. But I would like to take this moment.
Nani is currently going to somebody completely unrelated to this, who just messaged me and said, hey, I'm getting messages from Nani. Please make Diesel, Diesel, please stop. Let's see what it says here. I want to get in now. I had a disagreement with somebody about payment. I was having a hemiplegic migraine. There's a mimic stroke. I was confused. Nothing made sense. I was never a liar. He said he couldn't believe my views because we'll get to the whole abuse and lying and all that shit in a little bit. It made me upset. I ranted to my friends. This person is not involved that she's sharing this with at all. He's somebody who works for the Mana Potion Coffee, and he is not. He is not involved at all. There's no reason to send this to him.
I think, if I can for a second while you read this and look through your DMs, I want to point something out very clearly to the chat and to the community at large is, as Nani's friend, I begged her desperately to not do this. Multiple of her friends begged her not to do this. And Nani, I know the specific people who did. That's out there. I'm going to tell you that for real. So you were asked to not do this, and you continued to go down this path because you felt like you were wronged and you want people to feel the same way that you did. But here's the thing. You never admitted to what you did wrong. You were just admitting to things that you feel like people didn't believe you for. And it's upsetting because this is where it came to. Something that none of us wanted. No matter how angry I am with you, never wanted this. Never fucking ever.
So, Nani's explaining all of these payment things to me, and I'm trying to figure it out, chat. She was supposed to earn $1,500 for this work. I know she's taken. Not for long!
Oh, well, we'll get to those messages. I haven't signed nothing.
It's the story he listed. Moved to August if I'm correct, and just labeled correctly for clerical work. But I've been paid for updates in the past. Combined with payment sheets, only gave $500 for the blah, 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 blah. Alright, so basically I'm trying to understand what the fuck is going on here. Alright, I'm like out doing other shit for like the company, or I'm like going... this conversation was like happening while I was like out getting a fucking like haircut. Okay, like I was dealing with this woman shit literally 24/7, okay? I was like sitting there in the waiting room being like, oh, well, you sure about this, blah, 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 right? Alright, yeah, it's not saying I'll pay for updates though, based on my reading. I think that the employers in this situation, the clients of this contract work, we're very clear with her, okay, and very generous. I haven't read them all, just these. It's way up in the group chat. I didn't take those screenshots. It had been from February. Yeah, even one of my invoices, I said updated something. Then she sends me private business information about payroll again. Okay, now I'm gonna say this is extremely sternly. If Nani did in fact experience abuse and Diesel had accused her of lying about her trauma, then that's so fucked up, it's not even funny. You know what's interesting? I didn't say that, right? I'm not leaking the call that we had, right? There's a call we had, but in that call, I'll explain it. I'll explain it when we get to these messages. But don't worry, I actually do have an answer to that. But there's nothing that was discussed after we said the updates weren't allowed. More payroll information that I should not know about. The only reason I know what this is because I know the YouTuber. This is because I forgot the transaction fee. But see why I'm confused? Either way, I might be fucked. All right, so she's going through and she's explaining all this stuff, and then I say, I'm going to talk to this YouTuber for you. I'm going to figure out what's going on, because I was like, if something went wrong, I want to make sure she's paid what she's owed, because Nani's always been good to me. So I want to make sure that she gets what she's owed, right? And I say, looking at it, I gotta be frank, Nani, looking at these messages, it looks like you're going through something and being really argumentative. We have a really good professional relationship, so I don't mind talking about personal life, but you don't really want to bring that into work group chats with coworkers. Great advice, I think. Great advice, right?
You were trying to be kind to her, even though it was becoming more increasingly uncontrollable over time. And that's something everybody did.
Yeah, true, it doesn't matter. I was frustrated by the end of it. It was the second day of me trying to talk to them. And then she talks about more of the medication she takes, right? Like I said, it's just not appropriate for you to talk about your medical. Secondly, you say 1260 is the correct amount, and then later say send for 560. This is after you sent for too much, and blanked out name went to confirm it. 560 was for last month, not August. Right? Basically, the amount of money changed in this conversation, she just couldn't get it right, and that might be because of medical-related issues or some other reason. I don't really know, but she was just going. To me, it looked like she was changing the amount of money she was asking for, dependent on how argumentative they were about it. Right? She was going to ask for more if they were going to be nice. Right? So 560 was for last month, not August. July, I did. Valji, cover for me.
I'm covering for you. So let's talk about this real quick, right? This whole I do want to talk about the money stuff for a second, right? Let's talk about the money stuff for like 20 seconds, right? There was a lot of back and forth and asking what the payment was she was supposed to receive, and different people got different answers. Now you can, she was experiencing medical issues at the time, and things like that. However, I've experienced medical issues. I've experienced chronic medical issues and things like that. I know how much I'm supposed to get paid for at the end of the month. There's no excuse for that. There's no excuse for that behavior. If you have a discrepancy with your employer, you talk it out with your employer. That's the important part of this. You don't listen. I'm all about shitting on company time. I do that at work all the time. They're gonna pay me to take a shit. I will take a shit on company time. But this is not what this was. This was taking the goodwill of others and maybe the naivete and trying to push for more and more and more. Is that covering enough for you?
That is covering enough. So here we have me telling her, I know you don't want to hear this. I'm super serious. Unplug from the internet for a bit. You got a lot going on. I said it like 2 days ago. Unplug. Get a living situation sorted. Get some IRL work. I'm not gonna stop paying you. Just prioritize that. You got too much right now to deal with this. I'm trying. I got an appointment for disability. I have PT twice a week. Primary care every 3 months. Injections every 4 weeks. I'm also getting injections at my pulmonologist. My right side is colder than the okay, that one's really hot. I don't want to laugh at somebody's disability, but that's like so. It's cold in my room.
It's something that I understand. I'm not going to sit here and deny a lot of Nani's physical issues, mental health issues, and upbringing issues. I will never deny that from her, and I told her that from day one, and still won't, even though I've dissolved her as my friend. But one of the things is, it cannot be the answer and reason for how you interact poorly with the world around you. Especially because, from my knowledge, and by her own admission, she is lucky enough to have a plethora of medical professionals that are helping her taking care of all of these needs. All of these emergent needs she has a plethora of. And she's made that known to a lot of people, so that's what it is. She's told multiple community members that. Right? So it's really heartbreaking that this is what it's come to, that despite everyone trying to attempt to help her or to offer other things. You mentioned a job before. I'm going to tell you something that I don't think I've ever told you, but I tell people this all the time that I know that work from home. I always encourage people to get a remote job. Medical coding, for those who don't know what they're doing in their lives and they're at home and they can't work because of disability, medical coding as a job is really important. It's a fundamental way that some people can help uplift their status. A lot of people are looking for it. I encourage that. I encourage a lot of things. None of what I ever said in calls or in DMs was ever heeded.
So, she's explaining all these medical issues to me and all that, right? And then I say, like, she's telling me I'm not a leech, okay? I'm a little skeptical on that claim now. But, and I tell her, I'm like, hey, I know it's a crap work market right now, but at least you should be able to get disability. Take it one step at a time. What else am I supposed to say? I'm not a doctor. I don't know what half this stuff is that she's explaining to me. I went to art school, chat. I don't know this shit. All right? I'm lucky I know what a pulmonologist is. All right? Days off. So this goes on. And so now I'm thinking, I need to have a call with Nani. Because I've looked at the chat logs. I've looked at everything. This young lady lied to me about the reality of the situation, right? And then on top of that, right, I start going around and I talk to people. Various other communities, various other people that I'm speaking to. And man, oh man, do they have something to say. Nani was going to other mods, because some of my mods, I do modding for other creators. She was going to mods and asking the mods, hey, can you get me some paid work with this YouTuber? Can you get me some paid work with this streamer? Right? And they would say no. She's like, hey, can I share my Ko-Fi in the chat? They're like, no.
What? Why would you ask to share the Ko-Fis in the chat of a person who's a part of the mod staff who isn't a content creator? You're not entitled to that. The fuck? Why would that ever be rational? Why would anybody ever go along with that, for one? That's the first problem. Two, what would make you feel comfortable with wanting to say that? Because you believe that your victim status means that they have to do it? That's already a red flag in and of itself. There are like maybe a couple of times I can think of on the top of my head right now. Also, let me pull up that donation. There are a couple of times off the top of my head that I can think about where either I to somebody else, which I've never done, or someone on their behalf I do for them, if I wanted to, giving the ability for them to want to do that. Also, hi Carl, hope you're doing well. Thank you, Dave. I can't think what would possess a researcher to want to inject themselves in such a way to ask for money and then not understand what's doing it. Because the weed question can be answered by disability, right? But if you're getting disability, I know how much people are supposed to be given from disability. I understand how much they're supposed to get from disability, and I understand how much they're supposed to get from WIC. You're not living on an abstract amount of money. You actually have more money than people like myself would have right now. Because I can't be claimed as a dependent. It's not an unreal amount of money. So Diesel's not out of order for saying, wait a minute, you make more money than I do, and you're on disability complaining that life is hard? Because it's not even bullying or victim shaming over a unexpected amount of monetary compensation. It's like unreal levels of how did you mismanage this that we're talking about here. So it's gotta be greed. I'd probably go on record and say it's probably greed.
And she really didn't like that, right? I know that happened with another streamer, right? I know it happened with you specifically, Falgy.
Yeah, it happened, and I would really try to. Okay, so I paid her for work. If we're being real, I was her employer at a certain point, and I paid her for work. I got one story out of it, and it was someone else's Google Doc. I asked for one thing, and then into a Discord. I mean, I knew what I was getting, but it was still my friend. I know my friend is struggling. She tells me all the time that she's struggling, and now she's in my employ. So what do? I make sure that she is taken care of.
So, in the chat, why are you airing this out? If it's inappropriate for her to discuss it in a workplace, why is it okay for your friend to share some of these details in a broadcast to hundreds?
Because she decided to fuck around and find out. That's why. She decided to fuck around and find out, and she believed that friendship would keep her from the sweet protective hands of learning quickly what the fuck she should have already known. That's why.
Alright, let me explain why. Okay, 1. Nani aired this out publicly first. She did. 1, she tweeted about it. 2, tweeted about it twice. She's deleted tweets, deleted her Twitter, right? That happened, whatever. But fucking Nani would go around to everybody. Alright, is it alright for strangers on the internet to just know your medical history? Why are you going to other people in the Discord community and sharing your fucking medical details with you? Okay? Like, how about you get your real account?
Yeah, that's a real account, please.
Like,
And I want to point out something too, right? To Glub Shit over here. She was not only going behind our back, but going to community members. And going to community members and doing the same exact thing. I don't give a fuck if you hate me. I will be your worst enemy. I will make your life a living hell. I don't give a shit. But what you don't do is that you don't go to community members telling them, hey, you know this person you watch? They're a piece of shit. You should never like them. Here's all the reasons why they don't believe me. But I should be believed. You know how fucking disingenuous and disgusting that is? We were friends. You don't have to do that. You can say that to my fucking face. You can call me cancer. I know you call me cancer. You can say it to my fucking face. I'm not a little piss boy. I take my lumps.
So,
but don't be going to do that.
Nani the night before our call, out of nowhere, chat, out of nowhere, says, Jesse broke my phone. Jesse's her dog. The extra money could fix it. I'm screwed over. Jesse broke my phone. Extra money could fix it. Oh, Nani, well, how about I give you $100 to fix your phone? Guys, is this not obvious? But don't worry, I have some more that are more obvious than this, okay? But this one really pissed me off, right? The dog ate my homework. Well, she did show me a picture. Her dog, or somebody, or something, did break her phone. But she also took a picture of her phone with something other phone shape. I don't know what that thing is. Tablet, maybe? But it obviously was, she had a method, okay?
Yeah. Oh no, what happened? What did I miss?
That kid is so fucked up.
Oh no, back at.
Oh, back at you, base. Right, so I say, are you around to call? Sorry, I freaked out. I calmed down now. I don't have energy. Which, by the way, I thought she was legitimately having a freak out. They were gonna end the call. But I found out post hoc that she apparently also recorded the call. Now, of course, I recorded the call. I'm not releasing the call because it looks very bad for her. And I am trying to save some of her dignity. Like, I'm not sharing. Like, obviously, she's sharing a lot of her medical information in here. But I mean, like,
better man than I am. Better man than I am.
there's some stuff that she put in that Google Drive that, you know, that should be between her doctor, a detective, and God.
Actually, no, that's a lie. It's not that it's better than I am. It's better than I would do in this situation. I'm very serious when it comes to people disparaging my name and my fucking reputation. Because if they're gonna paint me to be a monster, oh, I'll go ahead and be a monster. And then when people try to attack me for it, I'm like, so you're telling me I'm supposed to just take that? Because I ain't finna take that.
Okay, like, it should not be in there. And there is stuff about her personal life that I have not included in this. Sorry, I freaked out. I don't have energy. It's important. I understand you might be really tired, but this is something that we need to discuss. She says, I can't right now. Would you be able to, I wouldn't be able to handle the discussion now anyways. I know everything that went wrong on my end. I don't need a lecture. So Nani realizes that this call isn't going to be good and she's going to be in trouble, right? And I just wanted to ask her, why did you screenshot these in a way that avoids you looking bad, right? Because it was people telling her, hey, Nani, you did this wrong. Can you please fix this? Hey, Nani, here's why we're letting you go. Here's a detailed report on why we're letting you go. I hope you have good luck in the future. That was it, right? But the way she was portraying it to me, and I hope I've communicated to you, is that she was let go for no reason, right? And I say, think of Nicole, I'm trying to be professional with you. And so she says I can handle a lecture, so I respond, so you can screenshot me removing context, absolutely not. Which is true, and she has done. And she says, I'm not, she has done that. Those are the only ones I had. I left before taking a rest. Get the call, the conversation does not continue until the end of the discussion. You're making it worse by not addressing this with me, as I feel very betrayed. I trusted Nani a lot. I did feel very betrayed. I'm very, like, gung-ho about it now, but I was heartbroken. Like, I was heartbroken. Like, I trusted this person quite a bit, all right? I shared information with this person that I didn't share with anybody else on my mod team. We were friends, right? She says, I cannot call alone. What I'm telling you now is what I will say. And I say, you want a third party for this? Sure. Any mod, as long as they're a part of the team, just tell me who, though, but I'm not picky. All right, so this goes on and on and on. And at the time, she still has a good relationship with Valji.
Yeah.
And she says, I was going to ask for Josh. Josh is her boyfriend. And we will explain that a little more in a bit. So very interestingly enough, you know, we're going through this, blah, blah, blah. Very funnily, I get to say, who may I bring a partner on? And I say Xylee. And then Nani says, that's scary. Big Beetle Xylee. Xylee, the Beetle lady.
No. You gotta listen. Auntie's...
Look, they're scared by hag maxing. That's what they're scared by. What I've come to realize when it comes to people like Xylee being involved in these situations and calls is that they are terrified of the true hag maxing. They are scared. They are scared shitless. And it's funny. It is funny that they're scared shitless. They don't have a reason to be. It's mostly out of the terror of, oh no, I'm gonna get exposed. But realistically, they ain't got no reason to be upset. They ain't got no reason to be scared. They're terrified for reasons that don't make sense. And they know it. They definitely knew it. This is a pole arm. So it's silly to begin with anyways. And then the fact that they know that they're calling in people that would smell the bullshit. It's obvious. It's obvious that it's about being terrified that they're gonna get exposed for something. But I guess that comes with the territory. I guess. It shouldn't. But I guess. You shouldn't be terrified neither, because you know the kind of people that you work with. So you know that if you ask for that, they're gonna smell the shit and they're gonna call you on it. Because we're all allergic to bull-minded fecal matter. Like, if I were to be involved in these situations, I'd definitely be fucking going Jesus in the temple on them. So, I think people are terrified of Zyda because they know Zyda's gonna fucking rail them. Absolutely. While sounding like Helen Hunt while she doesn't.
Hags, they gotta stick together and they're very mean. No,
you know why? It's because Xylee would have called her out.
I'm doing well.
That's why, right?
I'm okay.
Xylee speaks woman.
I do want to say Xylee is not scary at all. She just has terrible taste, and soda Sprite is a terrible soda.
So, she says I don't want to hear her cry. So, I go on to say, you're bringing on your boyfriend because Josh is her boyfriend, so she gets to bring in her boyfriend, who's not a third party, by the way. Okay, he can't be a third party. He's fucking ya. All right. Would you prefer someone like Hal? She's not really a creator. Sorry, Hal. I know. Maybe you should put out an ASMR video and you be a creator.
Ooh.
Right? Just have her present for posterity. Hal. I've been telling Hal everything. Hal is also not a third party. But I know God. Right?
Yeah,
but like, I'm gonna go with that call alone. Are you fucking kidding me? That I can get tag teamed by the Glupshino fucking couple of autists. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Let's see. I have Sound in front of him. Josh and Hal then, yes? I'm not gonna lie to you, Diesel. I'm so scared. Ah, boo-hoo. Maybe you should have lied to me. What can I say? Nani, I would like an answer. Is that a yes to those two joining us? Yes. One moment. I'll make a group chat. Just know you won't be getting a different answer from me no matter what I say. I didn't send it out of context. I told you I didn't take that many before. Guys, Nani takes screenshots of everything. So why is it that one time that I'm working with Nani, all of a sudden she doesn't take screenshots of everything? That's not how Nani works. You guys know that's not how Nani works. You've seen her around the community. You know she screenshots everything. So why is it taken out of context this time? Right?
That's embarrassment.
Diesel, let me in. Sure, Joey John Chairs, I will let you in.
Okay, hey.
Folks, this is what they don't tell you, folks. This is what I'm saying, folks. Is you get FPS Diesel, folks. FPS Diesel is taking all of his gooners and scammers and he's sending them to the John Chairs, folks. That's what you don't know. That's what you don't know is he's taking his fans and he's taking these gooners and he's taking these scammers and he's sending them to the John Chairs. That's what he does, folks. First he sends Sparrow, and then he sends Olivia. He sends gooners.
It sounds like you need to build a wall. Where's the wall?
I'm not trying to send all my degenerates that get kicked out of my server to your server, alright? All I had to do was not turn off. I'm sorry.
I accept your apology. But everyone else is still in question.
And I'm also sorry that she's now messaging you as like some last attempt. Is she still messaging you?
Bro, he goes, look, they're unrelated, but also they work for Meta Potion Coffee, and that's only 3 people, so you can probably do that. That's so true. I'm sitting there on my phone, I'm like, why the fuck did you even hide it then?
Yeah, I'm having a lot of those moments tonight, Joey. I have to apologize.
Dude, you're doing so much better than me. I am such an easy mark for sympathy scams, bro.
Oh no.
I'm so easy, bro.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna go get wine drunk with your brother.
Alright, you guys have a look to add to this because I don't know that person. Alright, goodbye, other 2 people in Mana Potion Coffee.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's a business meeting of sorts.
Yeah, business meeting. You're going to get drunk. Alright, so after this, the call happens, and I asked Nani, why'd you screenshot it out of context? And I've made it literally, it was like the Bowblax stuff where it was like, I am bipolar, I am autistic, I am bisexual. Like, literally like that was going on in the call. Was the call recorded? Yes, but I'm not leaking it. I'm sorry, I'm content cucking. But I'm trying to at least save this woman some grace, despite how horrible she's been with me. Okay? And if she does keep doing it, or she does want to make this like a big fucking blowout fucking conversation, I'll publish it, right? But like, I keep trying not to implicate other YouTubers in this. There are more YouTubers than would have been named accidentally or intentionally. Okay? So I'm trying not to make it a problem, but I'm also trying to take this fucking old yeller out back because it's a fucking problem. Okay? And I'm tired of her talking about me in ways that are incorrect. Okay? So this call happens, and again, I can get other people to confirm that this call did happen. But during the call, I say, Nani, with this, how am I supposed to trust you, right, or something to that effect, right? Now, if I get the spirit of it wrong, sure, sue me, but whatever. So, like, how am I supposed? Nani lied, in my opinion, right? And because she lied, how am I supposed to trust someone about anything that I do news related if they lie to me about this, right? That seems like a reasonable thing to say. If they lied to me about this, why would they lie to me about something else? Well, she said about what's in this call or in real life, and she said that repeatedly. She was very loud. About what's in this call or in real life, Diesel? Which one is it? And I say both. Okay, that is where she's pulled this out from. See, guys, Nani is saying that I'm accusing her of lying about her abuse. No, that is not what I accused her of. I said she lied about work. So in my opinion, I do think it's possible she could have lied about her abuse. Or she would have embellished, right? And I don't think that's actually that outrageous to say. If someone you trust lies to you, and they've told you all these things that are horrible about their life, excuse me, how are you supposed to believe them in the future about their life if they're willing to lie about one thing like that?
True.
And I think that there's something really interesting with that, if I can level some understanding for the chat. Nani never wanted to be seen as a liar. It was something that she held onto very, very hard and fast and true. However, she repeatedly took things out of context and lied to us about what was actually happening. She would tell people half-truths. She would tell people some truths, not whole truths. And the best way I can describe it is this. When someone is a chronic liar, they believe their own lies. And when confronted with that, they become very defensive. Why? Because part of the lies are doused or veiled in truth. And that's why she focused on this concept, this idea that Diesel and by proxy, any of her quote-unquote detractors do not believe her about her abuse stories, nor about her medical conditions, which was never the case. It was...
That's not exactly true. I can tell you somebody who quite literally, when he first was hired for the government to be a Fed, the reason why consummate and frequent liars do not like being called on misgivings, half-truths, informations, and gives is because it is connected to how they are wanting to be perceived in a perspective. Carl, that's the same thing. No, it's not. A person who wants to hold on to being seen as a truth teller, especially if they are somebody who has to believe their own lie, because we're talking about a monomyth now. We're talking about how a person views themselves in a situation. We're talking, there's blood on your hands. There's no blood on my hands. I didn't do anything wrong, Batman. No. Look, Joker, look what your special eyes, what you've done. And he's standing there holding the desiccated corpse of Harley Quinn and the unborn child that she was pregnant with. This is the, oh no, now I've become the monster type shit. What we're dealing with here is a person who wants to continue holding a position that comes with a level of veiled trust. So, let's put this in context. Let's say I was more abusive and or evil to currently at this time that I've only ever had editors, to British Knight, and to Space Oyster. And I was not having the issues that were caused by my sibling and home situation being made worse because of the things that my brother has done to my family. And me, specifically. Just in the view of just the last outside Fortune 500 job that I've had. If I wanted to keep the air of mystery there, where people can't know what's happening there, because I'm stopping information from being shared, then it would require me to hide a significant majority of my own perceptions and perceptions other people have about me under control by using a network of actions to keep people silent. Now, I've never done this. I'm never going to do this because there's multiple reasons why you shouldn't do this, and also why the fuck would I do that? That's cringe. But let's say we live in a timeline where Carl is super ultra cringe. I'm all the things people have tried to accuse me of and more. How could they find me out? If every single time people ask about me, they said, what? Single player Carl? No! He's not a bad boy. He's a good man. He's a good man. A good man. He brushes his teeth and combs his hair, that's a goddamn lie, twice a week. He's never raised a hand to women, and the only time he's raised a hand is when his wife told him to do it. And he did it begrudgingly and half-hearted, like, eh. If I wanted to control what was being said about me and other people, I would have to have someone or anything work out in my favor to allow that to happen, so that I can control things from beyond the know. Because the desire and need to be underhanded and schemy would outweigh my survival instincts, because that's what you're saying when you call somebody a liar. You're telling them that you're lying for convenience, these things are not real, and you're doing this because you know that you can be able to get away with it. This is Ian Miles Chong levels of bullshit, which is why many of us do not like him, because he's a content thief. And his justification for doing so is good for the goose is good for the gander. I should be allowed to make money off of things that I discover. I should be allowed to steal your effort and steal your work and steal your business and take credibility for the things that you've reported, and nobody can tell me that I can't. These two things aren't mutually exclusive, but it's much different to accuse somebody of being a liar and then accusing someone of being underhanded, evil, and rude. It's one thing to say, single player Carl has an explosive temper, and he's a very, very bad person, because I was once the target of that explosive temper. Because, of course, the answer you should give when you hear something like that is, oh my god, that's horrible. What did you do? It is much different to say that versus saying single player Carl physically assaulted his wife, destroyed his family unit, stole money from supporters and content creators and contractors, and he has a victim narrative about himself. It's a very different accusation. You know what I'm saying, chat? Because now, one of these is a criticism of a personality quirk. The other one is an attempt of life ruination on behalf of something that is evil for me to have taken part of. Something evil for me to have done. It's like saying, you shouldn't be a fan of single player Carl. Why? Because he likes putting ketchup on hot dogs. You shouldn't be a supporter of single player Carl. Why? Because he's a serial killer. Not the same thing, right? Right. Nani strikes me as a person that doesn't have a lot of social skills when it comes to the lying and the grifting. Because why would you do these things to people that you associate with on the frequent? That's the first problem. Because if we're going to say they are consummate to wanting to be seen as a truth teller, it's more that they want to preserve the air of what they have. They want to retain the monomyth of who they're known for being. I would not expect that to be something you should focus on, because that's like the furthest thing from what you should be concerned with when this is what you're dealing with. You're being exposed and criticized for trying to basically trauma bond with people over your problems, and instead of just taking the advice of your friends and sitting down and fucking off for a bit so that you can clear your head, you're instead trying to emotionally manipulate those people, your friends, and you're making them feel like they only exist to give you money. This feels more like the accusation that she's being accused of, and she's definitely guilty of it. Because she didn't change her behavior, not once. No matter how much good advice and no matter how much effort was put through to try and make things good for her. I feel like a lot of the times people confuse the two things. Because they're synonymous, but they're not mutually exclusive. And it's very important that if we're saying you're a liar versus you're a grifter versus I don't like very much your coverage on something, you kind of have to call a spade a spade. Fortunately, in this situation, it's a clear-cut situation. So, it's not that big a deal. I'm probably just mincing words in the weeds, but I think it's a very important distinction to make. Because no matter how much content that I cover, or FPS Diesel covers, or any of us ever cover, when it comes to matters like this, it's really, 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 really important that we make sure people understand what it is that we're doing and what we're saying, where we're coming from. Because this goes in hand with that whole never punch down shit, right? Don't punch down against people, because sometimes people are in a hard place, and it's a really hard thing for them to understand how to communicate and how to navigate that social stigma and that social circle. You don't want to treat people poorly and badly because of reasons and blah 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 blah. It matters more that people understand what's happening. I want you to understand how to drive the vehicle before, or actually I want you to understand what a vehicle is and what a car is before you try to operate a motor vehicle. Then I want you to understand how to put the car together and take it back apart before you try doing something that's going to void your repair warranty. And definitely call and ask for help from the people whose licensed and registered job it is to know how to put these things together instead of fucking around with it on your own. That's more or less what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Always an explanation of the violation of trust has gone so far out of bounds that hearing any further excuses, hearing any further explanations cannot be taken at face value because they are tainted. And that was something that she refuses to understand and refuses to acknowledge, which is why she acted in such a way.
Alright, so I'll show... Let me just make sure there's not anything I should be sharing.
Yeah, that's the have fun with that one.
Alright. Here's one of the, this is crazy. So, this is before is this before? Yeah, I think it is. Yep, September 9th. Okay. So, ever since I let her go, she had been running around saying this story, right? And this is the story she told. She would tell various interpretations of it, but this is the general gist, right? September 9th, I'm leaving commentary. Diesel ruined my online life. The loss of Nani from the community will be known. So here she says, I'm going to tell people that I was kicked, that Diesel covered with me. I hate him so much, Cloudy. Sorry, Cloudy.
Yeah, I was about to say, that was a redacted moment.
That's alright. She's not going to talk to any of us anyway after this. It's over.
Yeah, I know that, yeah.
Right? This is why I'm saying these anyway. My perfect world is crumbling down since he's a cynical jackass. I might be out of the job with Willie too. She would talk about this publicly, okay? I don't think she was supposed to. She would talk about it publicly everywhere. That is not me exposing something. She would say so. She shouldn't have been, but she was doing it. He ruined everything. I'm done for, Cloudy. This community never deserved me. I asked Diesel for help to understand. He does this. Guys, I asked Diesel to look into something. He looked into something, and he found out the opposite thing. It's over, Cloudy. I'm done. I hate being autistic. I hate people not understanding me. Diesel said he couldn't even...
Oh, there it is. That's the reason why I said it. Autism is not a superpower, and it's not an excuse to get you out of social situations because you act like a spurg. Even amongst social circles where we have lower autistic friends that hone in on shit, there's a limit and there's a level to what we're willing to defend. Oh man, autism is my superpower. I just get super hyperfixated. Yeah, bro, that's okay. That's not a big deal. But that's not the reason why you're here against the board of this firing squad. You're here for crimes against what you revealed in the general chat. And for those crimes, you must be punished. Shit like that probably grinds my gears the most. That's probably the most annoying and most egregious of examples of exactly the problem I was just trying to waffle to explain. It frustrates all of us to piss. It boils our piss and frustrates us to tears when somebody doesn't fucking understand that just because you're autistic does not mean you're gonna get away with fucking murder. That's so insane. That's so insane. Especially for you to do afterwards after admitting. This is Xander Hall. Well, no. Xander Hall unironically wanted to murder Keffels. This is close to the autistic example of the Xander Hall spurg out. I want to kill him. I want to attack FPS Diesel. I want to cancel him. They do not deserve me. That's a bit bizarre. That's a bit out there. That's a bit silly. It's very silly.
Even trust my trauma anymore, right? So now it's that Diesel doesn't believe that she was abused, right? So that's what she's going with, right? Diesel was shaming a young woman who was abused. Commentary is evil. Medical episodes, I can't, right? So I allow her to lie about me for a month, chat, for almost a month, right? And then on the 26th, I make a statement. What altitude do you have to be before you safely pull the autism parachute ripcord? I feel like it's something you pull once you've already hit the ground, personally.
I do want to say this. I want to apologize to some community members real quick. Hey Tyler, what's going on? I want to apologize to community members real quick because I kind of lied to you a little bit because when Diesel, you made your announcement about sympathy scams, the Bowblax stuff had just hit the towers.
Yes.
So I was like, it's Bowblax. It's 100% Bowblax.
It was,
guys,
yes,
no
we said it was Bowblax. The internal mod team message was to say, this is about Bowblax, and hopefully people are smart enough to put two and two together, right? Because we kept trying at this point to lower the temperature, to make things less insane, but it kept going on, all right? So on the 13th, I make a message about sympathy scamming, and at that moment on the 13th, when I say, hey, sympathy scams are happening, Nani gets a hold of that and then turns around and starts to collect all of her information in a Google Drive, information that we should not know about and she should not have released to the public, but she did. And so this goes on. She lies about me. She's going to any YouTubers who will listen and lying about me. She is putting my content of character. And I understand that Nani is a Glup Shido and that she doesn't matter and that ultimately this is just a crazy person screaming into the wind. But let me explain something. I have friends who have been accused of things before. You know, I hate doing this. I do this all the fucking time to quiet. But that person was a Glup Shido. Nobody knew who that was, right? They come out, they make a statement on Twitter. All of a sudden, boom, everybody's there talking about them. Okay? It doesn't matter if you're 2 viewer Andy or 100,000 viewer, like, whatever, right? It doesn't matter. Okay? Because sometimes the messages just pick up and they travel. And I was letting it continue because I was trying to protect people close to me. Okay? Now that was the right thing to do, and I don't think I did anything wrong in that, but I let it go on for a while, and I let this woman continue to add more and more things to the story that were just things she shouldn't have been talking about. So eventually, on the 26th, I finally had enough, and I made a statement. I say, in the server, boy, I didn't want to make this, but now my hand is forced. Some of you noticed Nani hasn't been around. This is because I let her go with very reasonable cause, and I'm trying not to share with you. I investigated a lead and looked into it. Instead of turning this into drama, I've been trying to give her the respect of quietly leaving. She has not done that, and has resorted to sharing her story with the community and internet via messages. You see, guys, in the call, I made a Rubicon moment, right? If Caesar crosses the Rubicon, we go public. That was, if you make a tweet about this, I go public, and I expose you. Okay, that was it. So she got around that via semantics, by privately going to everybody who would listen and telling them what had happened. That is what she was doing. So many of you probably got messages from Nani that were weird and strange. And at 2 Diesel, you know what I was saying before I got live, this is really like an at 2 Brutus moment.
So who am I?
Basically, this is the equivalent earlier when he asked the reason why we will not reestablish Harvey. This is effectively what he was doing. No, literally what he was doing.
I don't know the Roman Empire very well. Who am I?
You're one of Caesar's faithful, clearly.
I guess so.
You
I
did
guess so.
stab me, right?
You're welcome.
So she's been going around and doing Mark Anthony, yeah.
Hey, yo, Cubans represent Mark Anthony for real.
But, okay. So I had a lead and I looked into it. Instead of turning this into drama, I've been trying to give her the respect of quietly leaving, which is true. She has not done that and has resorted to sharing a story with the community and internet via messages. The story she portrays is a character assassination of me, and it is. It is not the reality of the situation, it is a lie. Without sharing the details, she broke ethical standards I have for my team. We wish her the best, but also encourage her to stop messaging the community. If she contacted you and you were worried, feel free to reach out to a mod. Okay, so, in the mod chat, I was basically saying, okay, this is what we're gonna say if people ask, blah, blah, blah. You know, I don't want to constantly, like, turn this into a big thing over and over and over. Let's see. Trying to see what I said in mod chat. We've talked a lot about this.
Yeah, and while you try to find those, that was the thing too, was we would try to keep this as respectful as humanly possible. I have had the unfortunate, in my life, I've had the unfortunate instance of having to be a part of firings of people. It's not a comfortable position to be in. And that's all this was. It was a firing. Yes, there were friendships and lines crossed, but that's exactly what this was. And something that really kind of perturbed me and quite honestly pissed me off was the fact that at a certain point, we as friends, and this was far before this happened, just stopped getting listened to because Nani was high on her own supply. And it became very uncomfortable for a lot of us. And then that was pretty much like the biggest thing, that it became hard to manage and deal with. Because, you know, listen, we are mods and content creators. We're not gods. We're not infallible. If I do something wrong, you sure as shit know that Cloudy will message me probably within 0.5 seconds. Or just yell at me. And you know what? She has absolute right for that. That is what friends and partners do for one another. Like, they call them out on each other's shit. And when you have a friend that you call them out on their shit and they just refuse to listen, at a certain point you gotta throw your hands up in the air and say, they're gonna fucking make a mistake that I can't walk this road with them.
Okay, so I found what I said in the mod chat. I say, yeah, we're just gonna tell people not to open random links. I looked it over, but there's a lot of personal info in there first. We don't want to spread it. No viruses are in it. It's just a lot of personal info. So I say that, and earlier after I let Nani go, I let you all know that I let her go. Yeah. And I was like, even in there, I was like, okay, we're gonna keep it really vague, you know. And I say on the 25th, if Nani does reach out, just be polite and tell her if she has a grievance, either come to me or be public. But just know that if you talk to her, she will talk to you a lot. And I say, I very politely tried to not make it a public disaster, since I don't want her to end up like actually homeless or jumping or something, but she keeps spreading disinfo to anyone who will listen. That's on the 25th, okay? I'm still doing that. I also say, guys, Nani's going around with info that's supposedly exposing me. She's going to people and telling them that I banned Josh because he's annoying, which is true, but like I told you all already. I guess she has a document she's putting together, but she's just trying to ruin me on the basis of nothing. So if you get a message from her, please just know that's what she's up to, and if you have any questions, I'll answer them, right? So I've been very communicative with everybody. I've been trying to put water on this fire, but clearly it's a fucking grease fire, and it's not gonna fucking work, right? So that happens, and it continues, and it goes on, and on, and on, and on. So, now that we're at this point, I think it's important to touch on the Josh connection, right? So, that's interesting that you say that, Makari. I kept Josh around because that is the boyfriend of Nani. That was it.
Oh, yeah.
He is very, very difficult to deal with, and very, very frustrating, and him being, like, I didn't ban him because of the Nani stuff, let it be known. I banned him because I was tired of him coming into my chat and asking to come on to stream. It was really fucking annoying, okay? It was annoying that he kept trying to be like this grade A #1 dick rider, and he would just come on to stream and just Japanese away, okay? It was fucking annoying.
I mean, I could go further, but that's only if you let me. I can bring this.
You can go further because
he's a fucking piece of shit. Hey Josh, I know you're fucking watching. Go fuck yourself. So this is what Josh thinks is funny. I'll tell you what Josh thinks is funny because it pissed me off. You know what Josh thinks is funny? Putting fucking racist images in a fucking group VC so people will react to it. And then when confronted on that, be like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know if that was bad. You fucking ignoramus spurg dipshit. You don't think that that's bad? You don't think that that's fucking brain damage? Fucking idiot. I got more to fucking say, but
Josh would he would send like messages like randomly all the time to me, and I had him on mute for a long time because I was just like I don't care. Yes, so he would try to friend everybody. But he would always yap about insane shit to me, and I didn't have the patience for it. So for example, I'm well aware of what potential I can do when I'm back on YouTube. Which, by the way, Josh was streaming tonight, and he ran away because he was afraid. But I'll only go back when I can live on my own completely, because I'm not afraid of getting opped, just my parents. Because when it comes to gay ops, they hit you where you don't see it, and it's usually your loved ones. This is all very funny because this is the shit his girlfriend does, by the way. Okay, right? So when he was on stream last, he was yapping about some like commentary, RFC, glup shit, Charm Skull, trying to dox his friend, right? Which his girlfriend does that all the time. Okay.
Also, wait, Diesel, I can't remember. Josh believes in something. Oh, it's called guilt by association, but not when it's his girlfriend.
Yeah. So Josh really didn't want to be banned from a server, and he was very upset when I did. He says, I got ops that have known me for roughly a decade and a bunch of brown people who are white supremacists in the skeptic community waiting for my downfall. Right? So I thought it was funny how he was like, listen, I don't give a shit about Bowblax. Bowblax is a piece of shit, right? But the fact that Josh was like trying to guilt by association Bowblax with saying that he shouldn't be guilt by association with his spur girlfriend is fucking insanely funny, okay? Everything he complained about the last time he was on stream, his girlfriend does. Literally. All right? There's not a single thing that Charm Skull did that Nani hasn't done.
It is, for those asking, were they e-dating, or did they meet? I won't go into that, but it's a very weird thing. We're just gonna leave it at that.
I know you what.
Discord kidding. Hard call. Hard sell. Lock in.
I know about it. I know about it.
Diesel, what do you mean? You know, people are supposed to wrestle for somebody's approval.
No, man.
You know, that's what's supposed to happen.
Really? Well, you know, there's a possibility out there. There's a different reality where there could have been a divine conception of a child as people were watching a stream of mine. You know,
that would have been, honestly speaking, that would have been the better universe. I would have liked to live in that universe.
Yeah. You know, it's a shame that one of those people had to go down for gooning with somebody else that wasn't Nani, though. You know,
right? Right. It's interesting. Always it comes back to Nani. Really weird that always happens.
Yeah. It's almost like I have definitely spent probably about 40 hours this year dealing with Nani's bullshit. It would always be her at the center of some fucking drama inside the community because she couldn't keep her shit together. So this is one that I will show publicly because she has done it publicly, and this guy was a source in a story that we were working. We were working this guy for a story. You might know him, chat. Yeah, that's scammer payback. That's scammer payback. So I said one time I was
lovely.
But he went silent, and I bet you're wondering why. Dang sorry. Nani trauma dumping to a source. Okay? A source.
What's the worst thing I can imagine a female employee trauma dumping to somebody about? Talking about, hey, I need money for new clothes because the underframe wire of my current bra is pinching me. Hey, I need help with my cramps. Auntie Flo came to visit, and now I'm just rolling around on my knees in pain, holding my knees to my body, saying, oh, the pain. Excuse me. Oh, the horror and torment. Why was I born with a womb? I don't even want to know. Whatever I'm saying for humor, it's probably not even halfway close to whatever debaucherous thing caused it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't really want to hear that stuff. I'm not trying to be rude. No worries. It's just rough. But yeah, if you can help, I would appreciate it. Yes?
Okay, so let's have a conversation real quick. Hi, my name is Valji. This was leaked to me. I had to beg her to stop. I don't mind saying where this came from. I had to beg her to stop this. Because I was like, you don't know this person. You're having conversations with this person. And then listen, chat, I'm going to tell you something. Business contacts are not always your friends. You can be friendly with them, but they're not your friends. Nobody wants to hear this. This was a transactional relationship. Nani was doing things for Pierogi and vice versa, scammer payback, and vice versa. He was, helping her with things. No, I have a question to you. If you go to a random vendor, let's say you work for Costco and your random vendor is Domino's. Do you tell the Domino's employee who is delivering all of this information? Do you tell the Pepsi guy, the guy who drives the truck, who gets paid pretty well? Truck drivers do get paid pretty well. Do you tell him all this information and you barely fucking know him from shit to Shinola? Think about that, chat. Fucking think about it.
Yeah, this one.
Depends. The answer is depends. If you make small talk with a person and they ask for deeper information and you ask them, hey, are you sure you want to hear about this? It's like a really traumatic story. And it's like, no, I want to hear it. Then if they immediately nope the fuck out of it, I think it's understandable. But social faux pas, that's fucked up. And I can understand exactly why. Carl, are you saying you're a yapper? We know I ain't being the yapping allegations, but no, I do not trauma dump about things like, hey, yo, I need to buy new pairs of boxer briefs. The ones that I had before, my wife is just ripping off my butt. I don't do that. I'm being assaulted? I am. there's a line, and you have to learn where that line is. But we're talking about an autistic person, so they probably didn't know where the line is.
One kind of fucking made me furious. There are other YouTubers too, by the way. I'm just going for Rogi because he was a story, not a creator who I respect.
Oh boy.
But yeah, this is, when I say YouTubers, I mean capital Y YouTubers, chat. Okay, and she was doing this, right? And she was sometimes doing this under my name, saying, I work with Diesel. Can I have a job? ... or money. Okay? Let's see.
And this was also a thing too. I do want to point out too, because this happened on my stream, and I know that you know things that happen. Nani was not very quiet about when a source was gathered. Was not very quiet when she got into somewhere. She would constantly exclaim, either in DMs or in a public call, with a person that is not on the mod team, about getting sources and about getting information.
Here's another one. This is another YouTuber. This is a YouTuber, like a capital Y YouTuber. I apologize if this is inappropriate, but do you know if anyone else might need researchers or if someone who's willing to donate something? Now, Nani in the call very much focused on that first sentence. I completely ignored that second one. Okay. Not trying to overshare, but I need to be out of my current place before the 8th, which is my restraining order here, and trying to get a permanent one. Chris, invoking Kristen Ark's name. Kristen Ark is he's a big streamer. He's on Lockout Live right now. Okay, he was shooting paintballs at Boogie. Okay. Chris helped by retweeting my GoFundMe, so I thought I'd shoot my shot at least. Okay. Hasn't she done that in this chat before? Yep, Jazz. I let her do it. So it's kind of my fault. I encouraged this behavior, and I apologize. Okay, I did it. Sorry, I felt bad. She was like, I was disabled. I am dyslexic. I'm so very disabled. I have migraines.
Well, I mean, I think there was also, if I can, not necessarily on defense, but just have an explanation for that, is this was your employee. This was someone who you recognized, and you admitted it on this chat, that you know you made like a McDonald's wage from the channel size, not your only source of income. You've mentioned that before, and by virtue of that, you cannot pay the individual. You can't pay Nani the rate that could potentially help her from all of these things, even though that rate probably doesn't exist because it's an infinitum rate. So out of the kindness of your heart and out of the kindness and respect for her, you would allow her to do that because it's the right thing to do. It's not a matter of being a pushover. It's the matter of recognizing that this person's on a payroll, but your payroll is not going to supplement any immediate need. Because if this person is on, let's say, multiple payrolls, and the need is still too great for her to have, and you don't know how much she's being paid by them, that would be inappropriate. That would be crazy if she would share that information with you or other people. Then all you can do is hope that the kindness that you're extending her is working.
So, boom. This is the first time that she mentioned this on Twitter. Okay. The big posting, but this is about the situation. And it's when I finally started to be very serious about putting my shit together, basically. Be perfectly clear, I'm not suicide baiting or in any physical danger whatsoever. Which, by the way, this evening she has been in DMs talking about how she can't take this, she can't eat, I just want everything to stop, I want to go away. And I get that, Nani, I get that. But I'm sorry, like, I can't, like, you brought this on yourself.
You're not allowed to do shit like this and then get away with it. Nah. She didn't want to be associated with the drama that would come as the backlash for being exposed for doing this. And she's like, no, this is too much pain for me. This is too much pain and torture for my dear little heart. How could you do this to me? Bitch, how the fuck you do to him? What do you mean? He didn't ask for this shit to happen. Certainly had no problem doing it. That's crazy. No, it's crazy. Girl, you're being crazy. Stop that. Stop it. It's unacceptable. How could you think such a thing and then think that's acceptable?
Okay.
On precedent, you're not allowed to get away with
I was
this.
told I sounded like it's true. I tried to make things sound the least amount graphic as possible and share it behind the scenes. If I'm told I'm a liar about my own experiences, I will defend it with evidence. I removed one folder entirely. If you have questions, just message me. I'll be happy to share. I just don't like being told I'm lying about what happened to me, even with evidence. Again, she's very much focused on the Diesel says I'm a liar about her personal shit, which was not what I said, and she has repeatedly attested to this. It's not the reality of it. It hasn't been. Okay. I feel she might embellish what she says. Now, a lot of that stuff that she put into Google Drive is sad. It's sad and harrowing, and I don't wish it on her. She doesn't need to have that in her life. I hope things get better for her. I understand those things are real. I never once... Listen, those things that she talked about in broad strokes, I believe. But the specifics of it, I didn't know, right? For example, she would just like say that she had a condition one day, and it was related to one of those things in the Google Drive. I wasn't directly told in DMs what that thing was. But then she mentioned she had a concussion, right? Out of the blue, literally out of the blue. And I was like, what? And I just shrugged. Well, Nani always talks about being sick. Must be one of those things, right? But that would happen all the time. But here she is, asking for people to come and talk to her about her trauma, okay? No low blows, she says, but that's not true.
No, it was never true. And that's the thing too, and that's the other thing. Nani, if you're listening, this is an important lesson to learn. It was grossly inappropriate, not only for other people to see, but for yourself. You were releasing information that you don't want people knowing. You think you do. You think you do. But you don't, because when you react to information, when people know it, and I'll say it when I say it, she reacted very poorly when Scarlett pointed out her GoFundMe. Yep. Imagine you would put your whole information out there. Everything about you is not hidden. You do not know who you have pissed off. There are people that you may have pissed off, and it is grossly inappropriate, and it is dangerous. It's extremely dangerous.
I never intended to use this.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you can also send the stuff that I have if you want it.
No, this one I want to show. So,
okay.
I think, so my like, this was, I prepped this stream pretty last minute. I had been debating whether or not I was going to do it all day. And I got a message saying, hey, person, I'm going to reach out to Diesel. Okay? So I found out she's going to reach out to me. So after trying to ruin me and sharing some personal information about me, now she's going to reach out to what buried the hatchet. Well, that wasn't what happened, so I'm going to read that to you. Okay? And then I'll read what I sent as a response, by the way, and some of you might be like, whoa, Diesel. But yeah. Diesel, I am in no way defaming you. He told me you cannot believe my mom's abuse, despite all the clear evidence I've sent. Again, I've already stated. She keeps saying I lied about that. It's not what happened. I have clear records and proof per compiled. I also have all my medical info, including diagnoses, medicines, doctors, blah, 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 and my behavior with this type of migraine. As someone who preaches about evidence, you did a low blow. Even with how you betrayed me, I feel with you ignoring the evidence, I would never say I cannot believe your father's abuse against you. Because you are misrepresenting information. As a former friend of mine, I want to give you a chance to clarify these things with everyone else before I have to show my proof of medical issues and my mother's abuse myself. Please don't take it that far. Diesel, don't take it too far. I'll leak information about myself. Okay?
Don't you do it, Batman. If you come close to me, I'm gonna blow my own brains out. No, Joker, don't do it. Don't kill yourself. Crazy. Okay, thank you, Aqua.
So something I want to talk about here, right? She says, I still would never say I cannot believe you about your father's abuse against you. She was telling people this, viewers of the channel, so she brought up your trauma. She would bring it to strangers and be like, how can Diesel not believe me when this is also happening to him? Okay, so a year and a half ago, give or take, I kind of talked about it a little on Twitter. I didn't talk about it a lot because after having a moment of crisis about it, I decided it wasn't for the internet to know. But Nani took that privacy away from me. After something happened, one holiday season, it was pretty serious. I had to leave for a little bit. I was living out of a hotel. And one of the first people I tell is Nani. Because at the time, we were working on big videos together. She was helping. I tell her what happened. We share a little bit of, I guess, trauma bonding. Talking about the struggles that we're both dealing with. And I tell her about mine. Okay? I tell her that, and again, I'm going to read my message so you guys will know, but I tell her that, my dad attacked me. Okay? And she was going around and she was telling this to random strangers, to moderators, to anyone who would listen. And I know there are people who didn't want me talking about this. This was too far for me. Okay? It sucked. But yeah. So here's what I responded to her. It's too long, so it goes on beyond this, but it's there. I'm going to read it all out to you guys, though, because I wrote it down. But yeah. So I say it. Alright, since you didn't listen at all during our call, I'll lay it out to you again. 1, I let you go because you lied to me about a YouTuber you work with, clip-chimping screenshots in a way that makes you look like the victim. As stated in the call, when you lie to someone, you break their trust. You broke my trust, so I don't trust you about your abuse. That's what I said. Whether or not the abuse is true doesn't matter. What matters is you lied about one thing, so why not another? 2, my Discord announcement was about that lying in section 1 above, not about your abuse. Quite frankly, I don't care if you were abused, especially now. What I let you go for was lying about work, comma, not about your life. But why would I trust you about both life and work if I can't trust you with one? 3, yes, you are trying to defame me. Going to viewers and mods and YouTubers with a schizophrenic, mentally unwell Google Drive for medical information, painting me as someone who let the abuse victim go. You use language like, quote, emotional journalist, which you did use. You load language saying how I'm about evidence, but that I ignored it with you. 4, I think you use your lot in life to get attention, money, and labor. It's pathetic. Do you know how many people I spoke to about you? The lies you told about YouTubers? About their families? How about how you try to get YouTubers to cover stuff for you? How you trauma dumped to scammer payback? A source I told you on the phone, be careful with. 5, you bring up my father's abuse? How fucking dare you? Did I mention how shit your life was in my Discord announcement? Have I made you a fool publicly yet? You asked me to give a shit when you bring my abuse to people. Guess what, Nani? I talked about it once vaguely a year ago and never again in public. Because I'm not a professional victim like you. I didn't tell them anything about me being assaulted. But because of you, I need to dig up that trauma and explain it to new people. What happened? No one knew about it, but thank you. I'm so glad you treated it like we're kindred spirits. Without you free. I haven't leaked anything. I could, I should, I want to, you deserve it. 6, you're sick, but honestly, don't get help. Go public. You want to accuse me and defame me behind the scenes? Go public. Tell them how Diesel doesn't care about your life. Just know that I don't care because you had to be a weaselly freak. Go take your freak loser boyfriend and your psycho sims, and when you drop dead, tell them I sent you there. Yeah. So, of course, she clip-chimped that too, and she just sent the bottom half where I told her to get beds. How convenient.
Okay, so first off, if I can, because I see it in the chat, you didn't have to share that. She fucking violated your trust. So first and foremost, I think on behalf of the chat, this is uncalled for by all means. And it's ridiculous. It's pathetic. There's only other way to describe it is not only malicious, it is Nani has no morals. It's self-serving. It's disgusting. You don't share other people's trauma. What she is comfortable with sharing because it's her lived experience. It's her. You don't have to define that for people. And I want to point that out. And I want to say that not just only to commend you, but to really say something that I think is really important. Nani constantly talked about herself as a person who was understanding of trauma-informed therapy. She always placed herself as a medical professional. She is none of those things. She is none of those things. She is not an expert in that. Just because you go to therapy doesn't make you an expert in therapy.
True. Louder. Louder for the niggas in the back. Louder for the hoes. Louder for the scammers. The deceivers. The backhanded single mothers that treat their children like fucking paychecks instead of like babies.
And she is trauma-informed therapy. She always placed herself as a medical professional. She is none of those things. She is none of those things. She is not an expert in that. Just because you go to therapy doesn't make you an expert in therapy. And what she cannot see is the forest for the trees. And what she does is self-serving, self-righteous, and just evil. I'm not saying that she's lying about the work that she did in the past, but what I'm saying is that you decide if you think that this is someone that you want taking care of you.
Yeah. Not like I want to talk about my personal business. I try to keep this on the fucking drama, right? But when she did that, I was like, great. Whatever. Might as well. Right? This, like I said, we've been mean. I can admit, we've been mean. I'll say that.
Oh, I've been vicious.
You know, the thing is I chat this a lot more. There's a lot more pathetic club shit type shit going on, right? Prior to this stream happening, fucking, she didn't want me to talk about Josh at all. Didn't want him to get caught in the crossfires. Josh was in the fucking poll when it happened. Josh let his girlfriend share around her medical information. He personally sent it to people. He did it. He did that. Why would you do that? Okay?
Diesel, why would he want to do that? No, chat, Diesel, you mind if I take this part a little over for a second?
Oh, absolutely.
So chat, I'm gonna tell you something really quick. I'm gonna tell you something really nice. Josh is a weaselly little fuck. Josh thought it'd be really interesting that I was not his friend. I told her anything and everything I could to help her. And I will tell you what Josh does when Josh is cornered, when Josh is in a dark place. He goes to other women's DMs and even other men's DMs and asks them to fix the problem for them. And not only just that, because he can't fix the problem himself when his girlfriend is spurging out and he can't be an actual boyfriend, he tells us. He told me, and Diesel, if you have those DMs, I have no problem with those coming out. He tells me, if Diesel makes a video, that's the line in the sand, telling me that he is going to abandon her while allowing her to spiral further and further. I'm telling you this personally. Do you think that this is a good boyfriend? Do you think that this is a good person? Sharing with us behind the scenes that he hopes that this doesn't come out because he has to choose a side. That he has to figure out what to do. Now, is that a person of character? Is that a person of morals? No. No, that's a glove shitto. That's a self-serving little prick. And Josh, I know you're out there and you're a little afraid of me and you don't want to message me. You'll say that I shared things out of context. Hey, Bucko, where's the context when you want to throw your girlfriend under the bus? When's the context when you're in my partner's messages saying some weird shit? Where's the fucking context? Because I know, because I talked with Nani about it. You two made up. You guys are together forever. I hope you two fucking stay together forever. Be the spurg little couple you always were meant to be. Because I warned you both.
Westside Tyler, he's so confused. So like everybody knew this person. He was like you know when you bring like a fucking monkey in like a funny little suit in? That's who he was. I would just bring him on stream and let him yap and just go like, interesting. And I'd just be mocking him.
He was a show pony. But again, oh hi Xylee.
Hello, scary rando Xylee here. I just have a question. Why is it every time one of you mopos get in a drama, I cast a side swipe? Every single time, I cast a swipe every time.
I think you're really nice. I've never said anything mean about you.
I am sick of this shit. I'm gonna go on a one-woman island and I'm just gonna sit there by myself until the strays end.
You're not gonna bring your husband with you? How could you do
No,
that?
no, because I might catch a stray, okay? I might catch a stray.
Oh, Lord.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so now that that's over, okay, listen. Here was my problem. I honestly believe, okay, just saying, I think I'm about the only YouTuber she didn't ask money from. Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah, I wonder why. Yeah.
Because she would be in my chat, and she was trying to do the same thing in my chat that she did in your chat, in Chris's chat, and Becky's chat. All right, and that was advertising what she was doing in the background. And to me, I have a problem with researchers who want the limelight. I have a problem with that. She got too big for her britches. She got way too big for her britches. And some of the stuff that she would say, anybody that would ever come for you, Chris, or Beckett, because all three of you are my friends. All three of you are good friends of mine. They would be able to take what she's saying out of context and say some really nasty things that you're harboring a really bad person that has a wrench in your chat. And I'm sorry, that's why I started warning people, because it did not look good, and I was worried about y'all. She did the same thing when she would come up on streams. Some of the crap that would come out of her mouth, I was like, girl, what? Shut the hell up, what are you saying? What is coming out of your mouth right now? I'm not gonna do the I told you so, because I don't need to. But I'm tired of catching the strays, okay? I'm tired of catching the strays.
You know who really wants to give me an I told you so? Fucking Matt Pitt.
I mean, listen, you know it's bad when Matt Pitt and I agree on something. When Matt Pitt and I agree on something, you might want to definitely listen, okay? Just saying.
This is why I was like, it must be drugs, because I don't know. I don't know. By the way, you know what, let's just say it. She did want to get in your DMs, Westside Tyler. She did want to ask you for work and money.
Yeah.
She did. We kept her from you. Okay, my mods were like, don't do it.
Yeah, so it was always a conversation with me, and I would kind of play both sides and be like, oh yeah, we have a researcher. But I would always be like, every time she would do something, like, she's not ready. And I would prime her to understand why she was not ready. I'd have full-on conversations about what made her readiness unsatisfactory, which was not only her eagerness, but the way that she spoke about finding stories. This was the thing about Nani that I think a lot of people recently saw, but not a lot of people know. Nani was addicted to quote-unquote justice. She was addicted to how she felt in those moments when she could put someone in the ground.
Yes. Which is what half the fucking problems happen on the internet, you know, with justification to themselves. Not justice for victims, not justice for the concept, not passion for the cause, which passion itself is not wrong, but it can be definitely misplaced. No. I gotta do it. I gotta be the one.
And I will say this because it's not really leakable, it's all out there, because she kept saying it in that stream. In our last stream, where we talked about Farah, she would constantly say, you don't mess with Nani. How stupid can he be? He shared it with me. And Nani, I wonder how you feel now that you just shared everything with everybody else.
Nani, take down that Google Drive, please. I've heard about the Google Drive. I do not want to see that damn thing. And anybody who sends it to me, I promise you, I will block you. Because I don't want to see it. It's got, from what I'm hearing, it's got way too much personal information. Nani, take it down. Be smart, because I know you're watching, Nani. I know you are. Be smart. Take that shit down. And I'm going to be honest, Nani, this live stream probably wouldn't have happened had you not tweeted out what you tweeted out today. Because I was actually kind of, in a way, rooting for you to calm down and not take this any further than where you were taking it. But then, once you did that tweet, adding that diesel, gloves were off.
And that's honestly what it was. She didn't heed any of our warnings, despite multiple attempts to do so. And it was, honestly speaking, it's just disheartening. I can't say, saying I'm surprised is a weird thing to say, because you always can see when somebody's on the edge. You just hope that you're, and then this is to the people in the chat who I've spoken with some of you guys privately who feel a level of guilt for knowing what you know. You really do hope that your words hold meaning to a person, but when that person does not want options, they want personal validation, they will go to the worst people imaginable to get it. And that is what she did.
Yeah.
And I want to stress that because this shouldn't, as Diesel said, what pushed our hands was not just the Twitter thing. It was the fact that individual chatters and individual community members were now being implicated in something that was not even their business, but also not even right to do.
Yeah.
And that was where she crossed the line. And so anyone who feels guilty over that, know that the guilt doesn't fall on you, it falls squarely on her.
He needs to very quietly move along.
Yep. I know she's still in the chat, but just he's done. Pack it up. We're gonna normal 9 to 5.
Quietly move along. You've gone too far. You've taken it too far to the point where you're putting your own personal information out there.
Yeah.
You've gone too far, Nani. You need to just pack it up and move along quietly.
I do want to just say one thing, 'cause I saw some stuff in the chat. Again, no one should feel guilty with speaking with her, nor do you guys have to own up that you were in a private VC with her or anything. That's inappropriate. What she has done is making you guys feel like you need to fess up the shit that none of us really care about. If you were friends with her, that's not our business. But the fact that she's put you in this position, I want you guys to understand that as an adult, this is adult Falgi going in for a second. It's fucking gross. It's fucking abhorrent. And you need to protect yourselves as well. No one is in trouble for that. No one's in trouble for trying to be her friend. She betrayed your trust.
Listen, it is what it is. Just learn from it. Okay? That's the only thing anybody can do. And that's on her, that's on you, that's on everybody else. It is what it is. You can learn from it. And that's all that needs to be said to it. You know? Because quite honestly, I mean, what else can you do? You can't change the past. The only thing you can do is change things moving forward. And this is why I don't go into DMs with people. Just saying. But then I was in her DMs. She didn't ask me for money, though, so I wasn't.
You're scary, though. Come on.
Apparently, I'm scary and a rando, bro.
No. I will not accept this. Xylee is one of the nicest people. It's just Sprite is not a real soda. It's just medicine, and nobody likes Sprite.
Shut the hell up. I'm going to open up a can of Chef Boyardee and pour it on your head.
I will gladly love it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'm getting out of here, but yeah, no, she.
Xylee keeps taking straight with the stupid shit lately, bro.
I do. It's actually part of. Apparently, it's part of my advertising.
A lot like Bowblax, so.
Yeah. It's. Yeah, the catches race, and I'm starting to feel like an innocent victim in all this, with all these little dramas, because basically I'm a scary rando, just yeah. Anyhow, but yeah, no, I mean, listen, and the thing is I know you didn't know everything, and I think that was, I don't see the point. You don't have to. You know what I mean? But hopefully
I feel like I shared a lot, but I know I'm still pulling punches too in the same regard. I don't know. Who knows?
So, all right, I'm getting out of here. Peace out.
Later, Xylee.
Later.
See ya.
Auntie Xylee keeping us alive. It's so real.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, Fauci. Anything else you need to get off your fucking chest about this stupid fucking drama? It's okay. One thing. It's been like a month of this chat. I really just want to move on. This shit is so stupid. I've been going around. I've been explaining. I've been checking in on people, making sure they're mentally okay. I've been making sure, like, oh, hey, as a, telling people what they need to say to make sure they're not sharing too much. To like, I literally have been treating this like a full-time job, like managing her schizophrenic breakdown, and I can't do it anymore. Like, I need to put a line in the sand and be like, it's done. I know when I go public, she's gonna freak out and leave, so I needed to do it. Like, period. All right, now you can say something.
No, you're fine. I just it's been months. It's been a month of this, but months of trying to speak with her and trying to guide her from doing something crazy. And it's what I can say is this, and what I want to impress upon her, because I know she's listening, is this: do not, and I'm begging you, do not do something stupid. It can get worse. It will get worse if you decide to do something far stupider and far more vindictive. And I'm not saying that as a threat. I'm saying that as someone that actually is concerned. It's just let this just be the last thing you do on the internet for a long time, if not the rest of the time. It's just stop. Just stop. Josh is still an asshole. Any day of the week. It's on fucking site, Josh. Any day of the week.
God.
All right.
All right. Somehow the entire community showed up for this. I guess they sensed the blood in the water.
Well, here's the thing. They sensed blood in the water, but Diesel, you have 317 viewers in the chat right now. We need to ask a very important question. When are we getting a watermelon stream?
We're never getting a watermelon stream.
You have promised this chat watermelons.
Listen, this is why the watermelon was delayed, okay? This is part of why the watermelon was delayed. I'm not even gonna lie. All right, but buy my coffee, chat. Buy my coffee. ManPotionCoffee.com. Nani has been harassing one of the 3 members of our beautiful staff, but bro, Melon Gate, bro. Either that or join the community, get involved, so you can find out when the fucking watermelon stream is happening. But make sure to subscribe for all the other commentary club shittos that are here. Fuck it.
Yeah, subscribe. Diesel sometimes does good streams. Sometimes I'm here. Can you bring me onto a stream for fun for once instead of like?
I'm sorry. It's always like when somebody's being stupid in the community.
Yeah, it kind of hurts. Have me around to be an angry Italian.
All right, well, chat. I think that's it. That's all I'm gonna share for now. Hopefully, Nani learned her lesson. Fuck off. I win. You explode.
I'm out. Horrid. There are multiple comments here. Let's read some of them. Boop, bop. Deep, bada, boop, bow. A little bit too small. Do I have one for cropping? Kind of. Not gonna work. Not gonna work. I guess that'll work. Actually, I need another copy of this work. Duplicate. try to help with a little bit of legibility because it's still going to be small as shit unless I do it real big like this. Okay. The reason why Perugu was able to shut down Nani's drama is because he's an expert in scamming tactics. Just want to make note that no one on the mod team, from Cloudy to myself, condone Nani's behavior. If you're a long-time community member stumbling onto the video, Nani acted like a Zoroidic and never heeded the word of the people who wanted best for her. Let this be a cautionary tale. Justice for Xylee. Man, I'm sorry that this happened. She reached out to me and he really didn't know what to say. I didn't feel like it was my place to get involved. One thing that sucks, though, is collateral damage to people who were involved through me as well. It's just an all-around crappy situation. What the hell's going on? What the hell? As a frequent viewer who isn't part of the Discord community, that is really weird. Oh no, Nanny Bowblax. I'm gonna call it, blown backing. I feel like Nani has some drama with a YouTuber a while back. Pre-owned for comment. I could tell what was happening. Her departure, Andy was having to acknowledge it, and it was pretty serious. Make a point not to get parasocial about internet stuff, including in a cool audience. But what can I say? It hurts to hearing that a lag-10 YouTube fave is going through it. It just comes off really intense on a small part. That for easel, like OpBlock and many of us in the community do not want drama in our more private recreational lives, alone in our jobs. Literally broke my back, spent a month in the hospital, and had to relearn where to walk. Where's my fucking money, bro? I'm almost done and want to add on. I didn't want to think that Josh was like an IRL friend of Diesel, and that's why he's always trying to join the VC on the stream, because I don't know how I came to assume that, since how much so obvious how annoying he was to Diesel and company in hindsight, which in and of itself is sometimes a very annoying factor. No matter what kind of no matter what kind of audience member that you have, it's really fucking annoying when something like this happens in this capacity, no matter how it happens. So pretty much everything that we thought in Propelity and more. However,
This guy plays 40.
I've been given screen cap points for the last thing that we're going to look into. 3 hours, 40 minutes. Right here. Let's get into this. Bowblax, blown back himself, has been getting baloneyed for the dumb shit he's been involved into. And he apparently wants to try and respond to Tipster of all people. Let's get into it.
Time I try and ping one, what you're saying.
I just said no. I just said
He's
no.
really
slippery.
Sure.
He's really slippery in this
It's like,
conversation.
bro, how can I talk to you when you just keep going, well, I'm not really positive on that.
Wait, I just said no.
Then what is it? What is he saying there?
With Mr. Beast?
What is he saying about Ty here?
So he is saying that Ty didn't come up with the concept of the idea. And that's why he's responding saying, with these thumbnails, saying this has been ideas been floating around for 3 years since Fall Guys came out. Because it's this concept.
I'm gonna fucking, yeah, alright. That's it. That was fun. I had a great time. I thought it was a great debate. I think that Lyrics really showed his proficiency, and I think that Willie Mac's show definitely came in with a position, one of the positions of all time. That was okay. Yeah, so what do I got here?
Bob.
God. We're gonna have to be tricky with this, because this is not safe, folks. We don't know what the fuck's gonna come down here. Bowblax bullied. Oh, you mean the guy who runs bully streams bullied somebody? We're gonna look into this now. Apparently, some weird fuckery did occur. I heard about this a couple days ago. I didn't really know where it was gonna go, so we're gonna be seeing this guy as evidence. Feels very this feels very Colton-esque, if I had to say so myself.
Bowblax. He's been getting into drama lately, but I will not be talking about the current drama. I'll talk about an old drama that caught my eye. On September 19th, 2024, Reddit user TheDreamer72 posted about Bowblax and his friends bullying a YouTuber called SMT in 2016. Just a quick note.
Dude, SMT. It's like the Salvo meat riding team. It's the new sector.
The video was probably uploaded in 2017 because of this tweet here. But
I uploaded an hour-long trashy trio video featuring the myth, the legend, SMT. If you have time, be sure to check it
it was
out.
recorded in 2016, as you'll see later. I'm not gonna read all the claims the Dreamer72 made, but if you want to look at this yourself, I'll link it in the description. The Dreamer72 posted a 2-hour video of the bullying alongside the post, but since people don't have time to watch this in full, I'm gonna do my best to summarize important details that I saw. For context, Bowblax has a collab gaming channel with 2 of his friends called...
Yep.
It's
buffering.
called refreshing because this fucking
the
internet
Trashy
sucks.
Trio. The friends go by Chaos.
I'm not pausing it. That's him clicking around.
Bowblax. He's been getting into friends go by Chaos Bender, with his first name being Sam, and Bobbery18, his first name being Max. The story starts in 2012 when SMT became a copycat YouTuber of Chaos Bender. Here is a short example of the copying.
Anyway, SMT is responsible for ripping me off for 4 years.
I know Chaos Bender said that in his first episode of this, but I'm not ripping off him at all. I'm not ripping off him at all. I'm not ripping off him at all.
There are so many bullshit factors.
The game has so many bullshit factors in it.
There are more examples of SMT copying Chaos Bender. It was probably annoying, and yeah, I do think SMT deserved criticism for this, but the Trashy Trio pushed it way too far. Side note, if you're wondering why this video is semi-blurred, they had a collage of awkward photos of SMT on the screen that was blurred out by the Dreamer72. In this video, the Trashy Trio brought on SMT for the 4-year anniversary of SMT
Alright, this is like a whole lot of lore. I don't, maybe I should pull up the fucking Reddit post. I'll do that after, I guess.
copying Chaos Bender.
SMT, is there anything you'd like to say to our viewers about us, you know, our relationship, what we've been through for the past 4 years? This is the 4-year anniversary of the ripoff, so...
Yeah, special episode.
And SMT would later explain the bad things they did towards them during that time.
Because he's actually put me through hell for the past 4 years.
Explain?
Go in detail.
Oh god. Wait, so they're all surrounding this guy, and the guy's explaining, like, his cringe trauma? And they're like, please, tell us more about how he fucked you in the ass?
We won't argue.
Let's see, deleting all my...
They did towards them during that time.
Because he's actually put me through hell for the past 4 years.
Explain?
Go in detail.
The guy sounds like he's about to alt. Bowblax sounds like me making Bowblax alt.
We won't argue.
Let's see, deleting all my videos, hacking my YouTube.
What?
Hacking my Twitter. Yeah, I could go on.
These claims would...
Wait, they hacked somebody's Twitter and YouTube?
Go in detail. We won't argue.
Let's see, deleting all my videos, hacking my YouTube, hacking my Twitter. Yeah, I could go on.
These claims would be proven throughout the video because it would show fun facts on the screen. They had people pretend to be...
What?
Hacking my Twitter. Yeah, I could go on.
These claims would be proven throughout the video because it would show fun facts.
Muddog is one of SMT's online friends who passes on info about him to us. He's like our own undercover agent.
On the screen. They had people...
Well, that's just wow. More reasons for you to know why you need to call out people before they become popular and famous, because then if Bowblax had been able to play the situation easier, he would have been able to avoid this, and he would never have things like this come out. So that's... let's just end that with a Carl's right. Let's not even revisit what I already said, since I already said it earlier. And just, Carl was right. Carl is right.
Pretend to be SMT.
Mario DS64 is another one of SMT's fake friends. But they put plants in his friend group. Jesus. He was the guy who gave us the password Smash Fan to his old Twitter. Oh god.
His online friends and give the Trashy Trio the info. Chaos Bender would explain this verbally as well.
Here. I have a question for Chaos. Yeah. What was the point of the hacking? I didn't understand.
And I guess all the blurred stuff in the background is just embarrassing pictures of the guy. I don't know. Is this guy even a public figure? Are these guys even considered public figures at this point? This is a long time ago.
Which one?
all of them.
Yo, the Twitter wasn't a hack. Mario...
This is like autism wars, I agree.
Yes, it gave us your fucking idiotic Smash Fan password. How retarded... Okay, number one, how retarded do you have to be in order to set your password as Smash Fan? And number two, how retarded do you have to be to give your password to anyone?
If you think stealing accounts were too far, Chaos Bender would say SMT's mother's name on the video, and Bowblax would chime in and say that SMT's stepsister is hot and shows a photo on screen.
Nigga, what? Nigga, what? Hey yo fam, we've been figuring out how to be able to dox you on the back end. So you know what? We went ahead and just broke into your accounts, and then I broke into your Google Drive. Damn, that's a nice mom you got right there. Look at Muriel's fat dumper like that. Look at how she shows off that moo-moo. And yo fucking stepsister Kaylee, she's attractive too. And we broke into her OnlyFans, and we're posting all her content from this account that we stole on Twitter from you. Who names their password Care Bear Hugger 569? This is evil! Nigga, he was evil! The entire time? The entire time! And he thought he could hide who he was by just reading tweets? Nigga.
What?
Sorry, someone was in my room.
Oh,
I thought
someone was
my
in your
mic
room.
muted.
Okay. Did you hear anything we said though?
No, because my headset was off.
Okay.
Love you.
You know what's crazy? It's like I hear Bowblax's voice and he sounds like a little toddler. But like I was in college in 2016 and Josh would have been the age to be in college in 2016.
Sorry, someone was in my room.
Oh,
I thought
someone was
my
in
mic
your room.
muted.
Okay. Did you hear anything we said?
So he's got to be like 19 here, right?
I think we're gonna save this. I think we're gonna save this for another versus chat. That's what we're gonna do. Hold on. We're gonna save this for another versus chat. This is too good to just stick in on the end of this. No. We're gonna isolate this out by itself. That's what we're gonna do. Oh my fucking god. No. No! No! This deserves its own versus chat. We need to have people on a panel to talk about this shit. That's so fucking heinous. That's so fucking heinous. Oh my god. Bad enough you decided to run content with a group of friends that you called yourself the Trashy Trio and go out and fucking harass somebody in perpetuity. Then you're gonna tell me that you will then turn into a content creator that makes a name for yourself off of money and drama by reading tweets, and you spurred out in existence, and this could have all had been fucking solved if somebody had called you guys out when you were this fucking young and this fucking old doing this shit? I will be there in a second. This is beyond the fucking pale, chat. I swear. I swear to fucking God, this is beyond the fucking pale. This is beyond the fucking pale, dude. There's no world. No world. None. No. 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 We will dissect this at the proper time. That's what we finna do. We finna dissect this at the fucking proper time. Oh my God. Well, fortunately that was good. Thank you for all those supporting well wishes. I need to go cook dinner. I will do that, and then if I reconvene afterwards, probably play more Soul Ash 2. We finna revisit this at another date. Absolutely.